in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. 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 Oof. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Uh-oh, I see her. Ooh, 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 ooh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've had these lashes on for about a week, and they're still on. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Oh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome in, Maria. Welcome in, Dead. Hey, Eric, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's everybody up to? Sorry, I'm out of town. I'm still out of town. Not at home, so I'm not in the necessary comforts of my own home. But I am doing reads, and I am talking about Espiritismo or spiritualism in general. So if anybody has a question, go ahead and ask. I'm sorry, I just started my live just a few moments ago. Cervantes, ¿qué estás haciendo? So far, how are you liking how that room turned out? Chilling. Yeah, now I just got to get information in each of the rooms. That's what I'm going to probably be doing tomorrow. So Hopefully I can get the... Okay. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, I need to figure out how I can get that Discord popping, so I don't know how that works. I don't know how you get people on your Discord server. But yeah, I had a good discussion earlier today. I was live like, what, 3 times today, I think? 3. One, I got a stomach ache, and then the boyfriend just got home, so. I made a green bean casserole, and then I made like some chicken breasts in sauce, and it was baked with Brussels sprouts. These things are, I don't know, I really like these eyelashes. These came out really, really nice. They're really basic, but. So what is it like staying at my house, even though it's a bitch of a drive? Welcome. Yeah, I gotta learn how to stream. I gotta do peace and quiet. Yeah, it's not like the lifestyle in LA, that's for sure. Oh, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah. So welcome in, guys. We are discussing spiritualism. I'm just here with some friends in the room. So if you guys have any questions in regards to your spirituality or any spiritual questions, go ahead and ask. My house is pretty quiet for the most part, except during the day when you hear a lot of the kids, in the late afternoon. Yeah, you really don't hear nothing. My bedroom is the one that hears the neighbor's house, the house that has a lot of kids beside us, the 2-story house. My room will hear it. The neighbor's house, the house that has a lot of kids beside us, the 2-story house. My room will hear it. But if you're in the living room, you really don't hear shit unless they're doing it in the front. So, yeah. So if you're in the living room, you hear what's like out in the front. But if people are having parties, you won't. If they're having parties in the back, you won't hear it unless the music's really loud. And that'll happen like on a Saturday night, Friday night, Saturdays. Sometimes on Sundays, but not so often. But yeah. I gotta take this off. Yeah, like, look at how skinny I am. I gotta stay
thing. Take it off.
Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Go, Athena, go. 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 She's not gonna go.
Let's go pee-pee. Come on.
She's gonna want me to go outside with her. She's not gonna.
Are you online?
Yes, I am, honey. That's the whole reason why I came into the room.
Come on. Let's go. Come on. Outside. Let's go. Outside. 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 Go. Come on. Poop dog. Let's go. Come on.
I'm gonna wash this thing too. We're gonna have to wash it in bleach. Welcome in, welcome in. I need to get that a better tapper. There it is. I gotta get a better one. I ordered one and then it just like got lost in the mail. It never came to me. Elliot, share me out, share me out. And there she is. They like being with me, baby. They just like being with me. Can you not say that? Because I could hear it. I can hear it. Okay, go outside. No. Go outside. Oh, you know what you could do, baby? Can you make me a Gatorade? Please? Please? What are you doing? I don't have my glasses on.
All right.
But yeah, guys, if you guys want to talk about spiritualism, you guys want to talk about stuff, I'm going to be here for a little bit. I'm going to be here for about an hour. Is she coming up?
Hello, good evening.
So how was the whatchamacallit? How was the candle?
The candle is still burning. I was able to relight it, and it's been like several hours. I think I said I relit it like at 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's 9:30. It's still burning.
And I think it was 14 hours, you said?
Mm-hmm. So the first burn was 2 hours to get it down into the cast iron that it sat in. And then after that, it burned into a really neat moon shape. And that moon shape kept up for at least 12 hours. It was relit once. And then when I thought that was it, no, I relit it earlier today. And it's been almost 7 hours.
So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's going to be like 21 hours.
I know, I'm so excited.
Yeah, because I've had one of those candles. I mean, for me, it happened to me and it happened to a client. It went to the 36-hour mark.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets there, because now that I've kind of just let it do its thing, the wax keeps reforming into like this everlasting candle. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, and then you're going to end up finding all the other goodies that it has because you only found one of the crystals.
Correct. I only found a lapis lazuli. I am so tempted to stick my fingers in this glittery mica powder wax ensemble that is still burning in the little pot.
No, and the thing is, it burns really pretty. You kind of like start.
Yeah, that's kind of what keeps happening. So I'm trying to like chill and sit away from it so I can still bask in what all it's doing, because I do feel like it's a mood enhancer. It definitely is a mood enhancer.
So definitely did the job, right?
I'd say so. I'd say so. The initial 2-hour burn was extremely interesting for candle magic. Usually like really high flames and like flickering and all these things are a factor, but I knew for a fact something magical was going on because of the way it was burning and keeping its shape, and then it hollowed out its eyes and was like looking at me. It was awesome.
Well, I posted one of mine, one of the first candles that I made.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. And I think that one lasted like 12 to 14 hours.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited that this one decided to just form up again. Like the herbs, whatever you used in it, were pretty much a catalyst to burn in several places, but then they'd stop. And now that they're kind of gathered in the middle again, like it's found the wick and it's just melting the wax back down to a circle, like a regular candle.
So maybe it was trying to tell you have to do something with the moon.
I do believe so, for sure, because we're about to get into our next full moon cycle for November. I need to check exactly what house the full
moon or something like that.
The full moon is we know November's is the morning moon. It's on this Friday. And I'm trying to think which zodiac sign it falls under. I should know this.
Don't look at me, I wouldn't know.
I'm going to look it up in my little date book right here so you can see what the morning moon is. So November is usually a moon of loss, according to Llewellyn's witch date book for 2024. That's not always the case. Different people, different practices will name their moons each month, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Full moon and what? Is it Taurus? I hope not. Come on, I hope not. Maybe perhaps it is. I think that's about right. But it does say that it's happening, well, it depends on what time zone you're in, but it's one of those full moons that hits full lunation during the day. And I know you mentioned this candle was a little more on the depthful, like warmer side of colors, like a maroonish purple. The color for that moon is purple. So I was like, OMG, this is awesome. Okay, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, because of the colors that I mixed and the micas.
Yeah.
The mica was it was between a red and a purple.
Yeah.
And then I added a pinch of black to it.
Yeah,
and it had several pinches of the white mica, or what I would call the pearlescent mica.
Yeah, it's so like pearlescent, and then the flame is kind of like that golden color, so it's just like you said, mesmerizing, because you like trying to figure out what you're looking at, then you're cross-eyed, and then you're all happy and you're looking at it. And you know, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the practice. I think it's like a pretty old, where people would practice opening their third eye or flame scrying, just staring at a candle.
Yes.
I feel like inevitably this one caused that, and it's crazy because I pulled out the lapis lazuli, which is pretty much having to do with the third eye as well. So the levels of magic on this are just too
well, then that means that, like the song, I hit.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is, like, when I make my candles, for the most part, I have like music in the background.
Yeah, I don't know what music you had on, but...
Well, for me, it was happy music and dancing music and, you know, that kind of stuff. But that's, you know, that's how I ride, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody has like their jam. A friend of mine was like showing me stuff of today. There was like, I guess this guy, mind you, you got to take into account this guy has over 150,000 followers. And, you know, he makes like $70 per candle that he puts up.
Jeez.
He made like 6K.
Golly.
But you got to understand, he has 150,000 followers. Well, over 150. He almost has 160. Okay. You know, and a friend of mine's like, hey, let's do this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that kind of stuff though. That's not what I want to do. There was live things in there, if you get my meaning.
Holy moly.
But you know, it was already on the other side, and I'm like, I don't want to mess with that.
You know what? When people make candles under different lunation cycles, there's going to be like underlying magic there too. And I do believe you made mine around the full moon in October, which is very interesting. That's very interesting. There's like full moon energy, there's happy energy, there's definitely not live things, but crystals do carry an electrical charge.
No, and it wasn't in October. I made it in September.
Really?
The week of October.
Really?
Because remember, didn't I ship it out?
Well, so the ship date was around the 21st, but the full moon
then I did do it in the middle
before.
of October. I just had the surgery. I know it was around the time of my surgery.
Yeah, so the full moon was Thursday the 17th, and had you shipped it the 21st, couple of days later,
because I was making it on the 17th.
Yeah, that's exactly
I was making it on the 17th. I made it. I started it roughly about the 16th in the evening. I made the ingredients, like what's in it, the day before, because it took me like 2 days to get all the ingredients that I needed to put in it. Mm-hmm. And then I shifted, you know, like I built it on the 17th.
Yep, that's the full moon. And then you went into your surgery, I think, like the next day.
No, I had my surgery prior, because I had my surgery. So I had the surgery on the 8th, and then the 21st, I had the dental. And then the 31st, I had the cap put in.
That's right. And so USPS played a few little games, but was it really USPS or was it something else? Because I got it and started burning it the week before the next full moon with that full moon energy. So I'm impressed. I don't know.
It was doing some kind of shit. That's all I gotta say, because that shit had me all fucked up.
Me too. I can't get over the fact that it's still burning. Like, and it doesn't have any kind of charred smell. It doesn't have any of the smells that I've had before with I don't want to say the word amateur, but people who don't make candles that often, they kind of just willy-nilly will put a lot of herbs and things, and it'll cause like a huge like uproar of flames and this like charred smell. But none of that happened with this one. It kind of it doesn't have an overpowering smell, but it does have energy to it, and it's continually burning. And the stuff that it's burning is, I don't know how to explain it. It's interesting.
Well, when I make the candles, I layer them. So making one candle, it can have like 4 to 7 layers depending. And then the final layer, since I do refrigerate my candles, so I refrigerate them so they can hold their shape and they take a lot longer to burn. And the reason why I want them to take a lot longer to burn is because, yes, they do have herbs, and usually because it has herbs, they burn faster.
Yeah.
But when you refrigerate the wax, it actually helps the candle stay on longer. I don't know what it does or the composition that it does to the wax, but it causes it to stay formed a lot longer.
Yeah, I am definitely seeing that. Like, the proof is in the candle wax. I was going to say the pudding, but the proof is in the candle wax. I cannot wait to get the rest. I kind of want to like stir around and get all the crystals in there, but I know that closer towards the end of the week, I'll be able to do that a lot more efficiently as the wax continues to kind of like burn and burn away. gosh. I'm like, I want to keep this on like all night, but you know, when we go to bed, it's a fire hazard. We got to turn it out.
Well, that, and then you should have a magnet in it too.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
Yeah, so there's things in there. Like I said, I made sure that the spell was decently done. And then I remember your candle, I had to fill the hole on the bottom. And when I say fill the hole, so when you refrigerate the wax, it'll like, it doesn't settle right. So, you have to add, wax to fill it. So that's what I had to do with your candle. And then, I slowly add in the herbs with each layer. And then I try to mix it in. And it's like one of those things that your eyes go when you're looking at it. So it's fun making the candles because you get to disassociate. It makes you disassociate. You just see the mirrors, you see the magic, you see the herbs, you see this, you see that. So I don't know. It's very fulfilling making candles, especially when you're working with mica.
Yeah, I did put some tourmaline and some quartz crystal around it today, and I don't know if that's just amplifying it and keeping it going or keeping it from extinguishing, but I'm very impressed. I don't know. I don't even have the words.
And then it did have, because I crushed selenite.
Yeah, that's one of those that will dissolve like in a wet environment. So the fact that it's so happy and like the fact that it has that aphrodisiac, like I could definitely see how the selenite is just kind of like seeping out of the wax if it were to ever have just like melted into it. That makes a lot of sense too. That's gotta be a big portion of why it feels so good to have it burning. Like even when it was in those like massively like high flame stages, it felt like, oh, this is so awesome. It wasn't that, oh God, I need to get a fire extinguisher. It didn't have that like fear to it. It was just like, wow. That selenite aura was just like seeping through.
Well, then I did a good job.
Absolutely. I'd say you did a magnificent job.
It just sucks that it took so long to get there to you.
That was so stressful. Like, if I could, the track record of this bouncing around the United States.
It came here to this city, this specific city, like 3 times.
You're like, well, it was in my city a few times too. So this is the thing. Now that we're looking back and we can all geek about it. Okay, think about how many people were touching this package and getting a dose of happiness. Getting a dose of whoa.
Maybe that's what they needed.
I'm telling you, this thing made its way between where you are and where I am many times.
Okay,
and it was going to be in an
the person that's
way.
in here. So, Sage, I shipped this out on the 21st of last month, and she just got it on Saturday. It was shipped back 3 times to my house. 3 times. And the worst thing is, it was a one of a kind thing that I made. Like I make skull candles, but this was a one of a kind thing. Like, and it came back to almost all the way back to California. I don't know how many times, and I'm like, Jesus.
You know, it did spend a good amount of time in Arizona. It really made its way around Arizona a few different times, like different cities.
Yeah, it went to Phoenix, it went to somewhere. But did you notice that it went to Kingman?
It went so places, yeah, for sure.
That's where I'm at.
Oh my God.
That's where I'm at.
It just came to say hi real quick, and then...
No, it was in Kingman for like 2 days. I was like, the fuck?
Arizona needed that magic. You're so right. Texas was over here. So Texas sent it to New Mexico, and then New Mexico sent it right back. It was being like ping-ponged all over these like auspicious places, and I couldn't be more grateful that I got it intact. And for it to still have that boom pow to it is just the
that's why the funniest thing is that little baggie, that's powders to put into another candle.
Oh, perfect. I didn't know if I should sprinkle a little bit. It's just so pretty. I don't want to like do anything to this one. It's so perfect the way it is. But if I were to get some of the pieces, like if I couldn't get it to light anymore, I thought about feeding it into a white candle. And then that's actually a great idea to use the rest of the powder and kind of just like sprinkle that in as well. That's actually a really good idea. I'm going to write that down.
I think that's what I wanted you to do. We'd have to go back to our combos, but yeah, that's why you had a little bit of baggie that had like extra powders and stuff. That's all it was for, to put it into another candle.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I'm surprised the package didn't get flagged for a powder, an unknown powder.
No, I've sent stuff before. They already know that I send spiritual baths. They're like, oh, you know, is it going to leak? Is it going to this? It's going to that. I've sent live plants. Now, the live plants, they do flag.
Really? Yeah, because they got to see what it
So,
is.
like, if I sent you a live plant, they put on their fragile, like, freaking everywhere. And then, let's say the package, I'm supposed to spend $10. I end up spending, like, 30 so to get there.
Yeah, no, plants, geez, talk about time sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Bones. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the bone thing. I was telling Mercedes I was supposed to get a bone wand from Australia one time, and I was just so nervous that it would get flagged and taken away that I didn't end up going through with the sale. And to this day, I'm like, a bone wand. I guess I'll have to source it by different means.
I've brought from here, I ended up finding peyote bones. And so I found coyotes. I literally heard something screaming when we were out on the quads, we were riding, and I got off the quad and I started running because I was hearing shit. Like I was literally hearing shit. And my boyfriend's like, hey, I see something over here. And I'm like, oh, I literally went into the ground and I got the skull. And he's like, why did you get that? I have it here. And I'm like, oh, this is the one that was calling. It was calling to me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was afraid this package was going to end up missing. I thought for sure it was going to do so many.
It got lost. You know, I stopped getting information on it.
You did? Yeah. Well, I started becoming very acquainted with every postmaster that I could. I was like, where is this? Okay, what's that postmaster? Let me speak to them. I was calling USPS customer service probably twice a day. I was working it, girl. And let me tell you I didn't get to tell you this part. Okay, so I finally get a hold of someone that sees the visual on the package, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, his last name ends up being Wolf, right? I'm like, oh, how crazy, right? Okay, it gets weirder. I get into conversations with him, and he ends up telling me, look, I got it. I'm going to grab it. Can you be here at 7 a.m.? And I was like, all right, cool. I'll be there, whatever, you know. He's like, okay, come to this like all glass building and I'll give it to you. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm going to get kidnapped. I go. This dude is cooler than cool. He's native. He turns around to leave, and he has 444 tattooed on his neck in red. And I was like, okay, well.
Well, I think he knew that it was spiritual.
I'm sure he did.
He's like, oh no, I gotta get the hell out of here because the thing is, how could it go to all these places though?
So from the technical aspect that Senor Wolf lent me was that there was a label and then there was another label that was closely placed to it, and people are just boop scanning it and they're going boop scanning it. So it was in like this death loop of like being scanned and ping ponging from different places. And it was never going to stop because nobody's like, oh, hold on. Let me scan the right scan and see where it goes. So Mr. Wolf here really snatched it at the right time. And that was because 2 days prior to us getting this agreement, he was like, yeah, I was trying to grab it, but now it's in New Mexico. It keeps going to like different places trying to get to the original destination. I like, you cannot make this stuff up. And the tattoo really got me like, what? It was so early in the morning. but I'd had a coffee and I knew I wasn't seeing things. I knew this was like, okay, that was more
Yeah,
than
and the package got beat up.
yeah, it got beat up a little. It wasn't that bad though. Like, I mean, you packaged it pretty well. I mean, it wasn't like this giant cardboard box, but you had put a box with a with the popping stuff. What is it? The wrap, the one with the
Bubble
popping.
wrap.
There you go. The bubble wrap. And I feel like it was fine, except there was maybe like a little dent on it. I'm surprised people weren't like, it didn't come pristine because it was like starting to spiritually bite people for being negligent or something, you know.
Yeah, because you were trying to add that little bite to it. Shit. Probably why Mr. Wolf gave it to you. He's like, I don't want to hear no more.
Like, please stop calling. Please just get out of here. I have gotten like 30 requests from this package. Who is Cuban Things? Who is she? Who is Mercedes? She sends a mean package. We got to get this through here. I wonder if he looked you up. He probably did.
Probably. Oh, Sage, so you can know I finally set up my Discord. So if you ever want to go into my bio and you have Discord, go into my bio and you could go into the room that I made. So it's a community. So
I went and checked it out while on your break. I was like, dang, she has a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah, now it just I got to get somebody to help me fill the holes and the this and the that. So when I say I talk about everything on there, there's a lot. I think what I'm missing is probably angelics, which before I choke on that. There's angelics. I don't think I have a spot for infernals. Trust me. When you go into that room, all you have to do is you go in and it says hello. Then you go into another chat where you start saying hello to everybody. You just start looking. There is different areas. If there's an area that you want to chat in, and when I say chat, you start the chat. Or if you say, hey, Mercedes, you need a room for infernals. You need a room for angelics.
You know, she makes a good point. That's yeah.
I'm just staying over here. That's all.
So all I'm gonna say is that I have a few angel decks. I also have a Daemon tarot deck, which is the opposite, which they get from that same high vibrational frequency, but they're definitely two different species of things that I don't regularly commune with. And I can see why. I can see people's reservation because I think there's a lot of misinformation and illusionary information when it pertains to these groups and, you know, what the cost is. There's always a cost. There's always a give and take.
Well, the angelics don't like us. That's the cost. They don't like us.
I feel like they like us enough, but at the same time, it could be that disdain.
They're forced
that's
to
like,
work
no,
with us. There's a big difference. They're being forced. They don't really want to work with us.
Yeah,
to me, that's how I understand their basis. They don't like us because we're not perfect.
Ouch.
They are. And think of it as they're coming up with that stuck up attitude. So the one that I've spoken to is Metatron.
That's a powerful one, yeah.
And he's the one that has like the green, the yellow flecks. I see them as, have you ever seen like vibrations?
Yes.
That's how I see them. I've never been able to talk to Michael, even though I've tried to pull him in. He won't come.
To me, he appears as like a navy blue glowing energy, sometimes like a cerulean blue energy. But as far as talking to him, like, I feel like there was one time that perhaps I was able to have like a meditative conversation and it was interesting. But other than that, he's just like a vibrational color. As far as Metatron, I see the sigil a lot, like his seal. And that's, I would feel like that's something that, you know, keeps him close. But again, not really close in conversation. It's more, you're right, like a color signature.
That's what I see as the color signatures when I'm talking about angelics. But it's almost like they don't like working with me. I tried working with them. I won't do it. They made my life a living hell. Oh, hell
What
no.
do you mean? Oh my gosh. What do you mean? How could they make your life a living hell? Wait.
Well, you got to understand, somebody has to pay the consequences for someone else's actions since they're no longer here.
Okay.
I'm not taking on that debt.
Okay.
I'm not taking someone's debt. They need to pay for it.
Yeah, so the
Yeah, girl, if you go into my Discord, you have like so many like locations. There's actually one spot, like when you come in, you should like let everybody know like who you are and what you're about, right? You know, the about me page about yourself. Stop. I can't. Wait. I needed to get that air. But yeah, like you'll go into the Discord and you got like so many places where you can like kind of start a convo. But what I want people to do is to introduce themselves. So there's a section where you can introduce yourself, and if you have like, if you want she, they, them, or he, blah 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 blah, you know, your pronouns, if you want those, you can put it on there. You gotta, you know, say okay to the rules, because you know I want people over 18, because there's going to be a lot of different types of discussions. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying, I swear. There's so many, there's a lot. There's a lot.
I need to add a section in there about fairy knots.
You mean anything about fairies?
No, fairy knots, and what that would mean as far as astral travel or communion with these beings. And I don't necessarily want to talk about fairies, try not to talk about them. But the way they be knotting up people's hair for whatever reason is a whole other
ball game. What did you do to them that they so pissed off that they go and fuck with your
I
hair?
didn't do anything. I think they think it's funny. That's the part that I'm like, let's have a discussion.
Well, aren't fairies duendes to some extent?
Yeah, I would think so. And that's another thing. Like,
I think the duendes are a little bit harsher though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Different cultures, different vibrational beings from like the same groups or different groups or similar groups, like they get very upset when they're generalized too much. That's why I try to keep their names out of my mouth. But the knots, like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, as long as they're not making you lose your shit.
Oh yeah, that's, you know, you're right. Maybe the knots are a trade-off than me losing
your shit all the time.
Yeah, you know, that's a great point. You know,
Just saying.
To the game. Yeah.
And you know, them fairy rings.
Have you had any of those pop up this year for you? I've seen some mushrooms pop up out of the trees and things, but I'm still getting acquainted with, you know, mushroom herbalism, which ones are danger mushrooms, which ones are good mushrooms. But that's what I know a fairy ring to be, like a ring of mushrooms. Is that always the case?
Not necessarily.
No.
It could be like little posies, a ring of little posies. Yeah. You know, so it just depends on the type of ring, but it's usually like some sort of flower. It could even, I think, clovers as well, but those are different. But it has to do with similarities. Them being a circle around something, and it's sometimes usually around a tree or around other foliage. So you got to pay attention, because if you stomp all over that, they're gonna be hella pissed at you.
And you hear them, right? I remember in my reading, you're like, I hear them, like they're a smaller energy. I don't remember if you saw them as like a vibrational signature or if you were seeing them, but I remember you saying like,
I can see them. I could see them, I could feel them.
That's so cool.
Some of them are really sneaky. Son traviesos. That's basically what I would call them. Not all of them, but a good, you know, that's
duendes,
like their
yeah.
personality, their trademark. If you want to call it that. So, no, my dad kicks them mushrooms. Chilenos do it different. That's. I bet you his shit don't go missing though. They just stay hella pissed.
I feel like I have one around that grumbles the word duende. And
Yeah, more than likely, because it could be a family thing. It depends on the land that you're on and what kind of people have been over there. So if there's been a lot more of the Latin America, you would hear duendes instead of da 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 da.
Yeah, it's a little grumble, and I'm
Like if you go to the Discord, there's conjurer or Southern conjurer. Well, Southern conjurers, there's this one guy, like this chick didn't want to, he's on here on TikTok. This guy was trying to date this girl, whatever. And I guess she told him no, or she cheated on him, or she was like dating other guys. So he sicked a duende on her and he's Southern conjurer. And I was like, God damn.
That's actually a really good idea.
God damn.
Information in my back pocket. That sounds like a great idea.
That was definitely out of pocket. Like,
oh, so that's like genius. Like, talk about conjuring up for your use.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about other practices. Me. And I'm like, oh, did this dude just say duende? I repeated it. I had to hear it like 3 or 4 times to verify what word he used. Duende. I was like, hijo de su madre.
Well, I think it's because they make it very clear, like, not this, that. And you're like, oh, it doesn't matter, like, what nationality.
Well, no, that one was whatever he sicked on her. He said this, and it went.
Yeah. Really? Mm-mm.
Well, imagine sicking a duende and one that's like love struck, but just or heartbroken.
Yeah,
I feel like it's coming at you like Chucky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all right.
I mean, I was like, God damn. Oh, and he gave it treats and everything. I was like,
they live for that, though. They live for that.
Man, I just tell a story to the spirits when a storm rolls in, and what they do is their choice.
Yo, that's very resourceful of you. Using the storms and just, hey, do with this information with what you will.
Mm-hmm. Let their house get hit by lightning, struck by lightning. The storm is coming.
Let me tell you why that would probably fit really good for these people's lives, like, just in case. Definitely fits there.
Yeah, all I can tell you is, like, stuff is different. And like I said, I saw that in Southern Conjure, and I was like, ¿Ustedes usan duendes?
What do you see most often, do you think? Like, I know you mentioned you've been in your practices for a long time. There hasn't been a time where you didn't see spirit or the undead or the Lawab, but what do you feel that you see most often? Like, across the board, like, what do you see most often?
Just the dead. Anything that's not, it doesn't matter if it's an animal or not. So I've seen, and then I get, so these are the 2 types of scenes that I get. So I can see how the person passed away, like what they look like because of whatever tragedy has struck them. Hold on. So when I see a dead person or, a spirit that's no longer here, they show me their last few seconds of their life. So whether it was an accident, a tragedy, or whatever, or how they lived their life. So I either see them in the whole of what they look like when they passed, or right before they passed. And then there's some that they don't know how to revert, or sometimes they revert to really young, or because after you've been on this plane for so long, you get to make a choice on what you want to look like.
Yeah,
You could decide to look like when you're 7, or because that was the best time of your life, or
Right.
you're a teenager, or you didn't really care, so you don't mind looking old.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's one of the many things. They usually like telling me their secrets. That's the weird part. The secrets. So even after people pass, they still like to tell me their secrets. Like, what am I going to be able to be? What can I do with that?
Any recipes?
They don't give me. That's the thing. They don't give me recipes, because usually the ones I see aren't magical in that aspect. The other thing that I see, so it just depends on the area that I'm at too. So if there's energetic resonance of whatever that energy I see and I feel. So the first thing is I feel the energy because I'm sensitive. And then I get an understanding if it's male, if it's female, if it's a creature, if it's something not of this earth, and then so on and so forth. Like when I didn't know who Hecate was, I started getting that energy, and all of a sudden everything at Hecate just started popping up for me. I ended up working with somebody because, I started looking it up or whatever. Every time I start looking something up, I end up getting people that need to practice that. I end up, seeing a couple of things. I light her a candle, whatever. A couple of days later, I end up doing, if you want to call it a ritual for somebody else that had to do with Hecate. The hell is that all about?
Well, I think that's a very interesting observation that spirit does communicate, even in modern terms, through showing you their name over and over and over again. Like, it's very little things that are coincidence, but I kind of encounter that myself, but without, of course, the dead aspect of it. That's a very interesting observation. And I think a lot of people are probably seeing that and not realizing how much that's contact from the other side and a sign to, hey, I'm right here. Hey, work with me. Hey, this is my energy and what it feels like. So that's really awesome.
The other one was like Santa Muerte. She's been after me for quite some time. I don't really talk about it, but it's an energy that's followed me for quite a bit of time. I can say that. My mom always told me, no, we can't have that because of what we practice. Come to find out, for us, that's iku, that's death. In my practice, you don't want death on you, or you don't want death around you. But the thing is, I'm a spiritualist, and death is always around me because I'm always seeing death. I'm a medium. So because I am a medium and I have those capabilities, I'm always around it, not because I want to. Hello. It's just a fact. It's not something I can change. I can't change the energies in the sense of that's the energy of what was, but I can change so it could be at peace. Am I making sense?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't understand an angry energy, or that super hot and super cold energy, or I don't know why I'm still stuck here energy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the latter of I'm stuck here and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go.
And so
it could have been a tragedy. Huh?
Would you say you're more often helping those move on, those that aren't like
I can't say that. It's just how I see it. They're stuck in their last day loop. They're still doing the same thing over and over again, and then whatever until they pass, and then all over again till they pass. All over again till they pass, and they don't realize the loop. That's what I've noticed. It's one of the things or one of the factors. Or they're like, oh, you can see me? Can I be all up in your face? Can you get me the fuck out of here? And I'm like, that's not my job to get you the hell out of here. Oh, I go, you didn't see the tunnel? You didn't see the light? You didn't see this? And they're like, oh, no, I was too busy in shock. And I'm like, well, honey, it's been 40 years that you've been in shock, or it's been 50, or it's been 10. I remember I was doing a live last summer, and a couple of nights before, or the night before, I went and I picked up one of my friends. His name is Derek. We did a cleansing here at my house. On my way, when he was here, I'm like, hey, something happened. And when we left so I could drop him off at his house, there was a lot of yellow tape. Verification, something happened. Exactly what, we don't know, but And I told him, I go, I think something happened. Somebody got ran over. And that Monday, so that happened on a Saturday night. Monday, the sheriff came knocking at my door saying, hey, do you have cameras? Do you have any cameras that go through, that street behind you? And I go, no, I'm sorry, I don't have cameras. I go, but are you talking about a gentleman that looks about 21, 18 to about 23, this? And he looked at me and he's like, yes. And I go, yeah, I never met him. The guy was standing right next to him.
Jeez.
Oh, and he told me how he passed. Why
did you have to explain to the cop your innocence on how you would know this information? You're like, no.
No, the guy just turned, okay, imagine a Latino that turned white.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, because I was like, oh my God, you're like incriminating yourself just trying to help.
And I go, and I'm assuming that they, they took the stop, or because the person was coming, and I guess the light on his motorcycle, like, turned off or something, like the battery died or something, and he got hit.
Ugh.
And everybody took off. Everybody took off and left him there.
Me.
And by the way, we were going back. I met a grouchy 300-year-old past old man spirit that argued with me, telling me he was. Oh yeah, that's the problem. They don't understand why you're there and their house is gone, but they're still going back to their house every day. Tell me what that's about. They don't realize their house is gone, or now they're bothering you because, that house has now become a building that you work in. Explain that.
That is very interesting. That's very interesting.
It's these weird things, you know what I'm saying? It's all the weirdness of the things that happen. And, they will argue with you till you're blue in the face, literally. I mean, because they can't change color anyways. And they're like, oh no, this is my house and I'm going to be grumpy and I'm going to be this and I'm going to, and you're just like, oh, why?
Do you think it's a transcendence of their consciousness here of not believing in the occult or the other
I don't think it
side?
has anything to do with the occult. I think it's some people are super stubborn, especially back in the day.
Yeah.
They were very the ig and the nor and the ant. And they just don't understand. It doesn't compute. Whether it's a unconsciousness, subconsciousness, whatever kind of consciousness it is. Sorry, I don't know the technical terms. Yo soy bruta. They haven't come to the understanding that they're no longer here. Not even just that. I crossed his wife and he blames me for his. Oh yeah, see, that's the problem, because the wife understood and he didn't. He never got the understanding. Oh, I get that. He thinks that you took her away and you locked her up in the prison.
Yeah. So a lot in my mediumship, a lot in my practice, which tends to be very like cherry picking from a lot of different places. Earth tends to be somewhat like a school where we have different like ways of learning and perceiving things. And then we can move on and transcend to other places and have different consciousness in that, regard. But that makes sense that they're going to be bound here and figure it out as long as they need to as an energy.
And it's not as they need to. It's not an as they need to. It's more of a, man, it's very hard to explain. But yeah, they can't let go. It's not just a fear of hell. It's because my personal opinion. Now I'm going to speak on my beliefs. Then this has nothing to do with my practices. I believe hell is on earth. My point of view.
Yes.
This is the most brutal way of getting every single feeling that you need to have here. And because you feel so much, that energy stays even after the body is gone. There's an energy signature. And I don't care what you tell me, whether it comes back and gets placed in the ground or whatever, then the trees get it or the plants get it. You know, however you want to call the cycle of life.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that energy doesn't necessarily dissipate. It might not be, you know, my 120, 130 pound body, but it stays here. And it could be the you know, ignorance, something that needs to be learned, you know, more love, more hate, more this, more that, causes them to be stuck. And not having an understanding of any type of afterlife makes them more stuck because they are afraid of hell. And some people are afraid of heaven because they think they're going to be judged. So they don't understand. And if they don't go to that light or to where they need to go for that intermediary section so they can be judged, because you are going to be judged whether you like it or not. You're going to be judged, whether it's by your peers, by God, by whoever you want to call it. Something is going to judge you, whatever that something is. And if you have a fear of anything, you're going to be stuck here on this plane.
I believe that. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it could be worded better or more eloquently, but basically to me, that's what it is. That's the interference. You know, the psychology behind it, I don't know. I'm not instructed in that aspect. I just see it as a spiritual. A lot of things are left undone. And because you left it undone, here's the other thing that a lot of people don't understand. What I leave undone, my kids have to pick up after me and fix what I haven't done. But remember, I already have 10 generations, 20 generations of shit that wasn't undone that I had to do, and I couldn't even get my shit done. Am I making sense? Because the DNA was passed down. So let's say my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, you know, had 10 kids, but lived from moving from one area to another, to another, to another, to another. She never had her home. And that was her dream, to have her branch, to have her home, right? Then her kid, you know, was going place to place to place to place. Didn't get to have, they got a home, but not their home. So they're fixing what their parents couldn't fix. And then, you know, it just trickles down. It's a trickle effect.
Right.
So, you know, I'm trying to not leave things undone so I can not leave my problems to my kids so they could have a better life. I mean,
feel like that's more of an effort than most parents or generations that we live in or the ones prior to us can make, especially with them not being as, you know, spiritual as yourself or, you know, myself or the people a part of this live, like to have consciousness about, you know, those cycles and how DNA does carry body to body through generation. Like that's a huge effort that I can't imagine, you know, a majority of the world would be making. I mean, that's why people stay stuck and why this planet is constantly full of souls and energy.
Well, here's the other thing. Imagine my grandpa was spiritual, who's no longer here. He's been deceased 12 years. My mom is spiritual. So my grandpa was partially initiated in a lot of the religions that I'm in. My mom's fully initiated. I'm the second person in the house initiated, but after me, I broke down the doors. So within a year's time, 4 people were initiated. I was initiated. My son was initiated, and both of my daughters. And I'm talking about we were initiated in a bunch of different religions. Bunch of different religions, a bunch of different ATRs. So we were initiated. I was already initiated in Palomaybe. But My son was initiated in Palomaybe. Both my daughters were initiated in Palomaybe. Then my son got Santo done, who got initiated in Lucumi. My daughters got initiated in Lucumi. They at least had their Ide de Orula. Now, they weren't initiated in Ifa completely, but they had some initiations in that aspect too. So I left the doors open for a lot of things. Now, if they choose to work it, that's their choice. They were children at the time. They wanted to get in these different diasporas. And at the end of the day, my oldest daughter, she graduated from high school, top of her class. I think she was like number 20 something in her class. She graduated college with a criminal justice degree, magna cum laude, no sé qué rayo, with a bunch of tassels. And, she was studying to get her master's. Mind you, she has helped other people initiate in these practices. She's been around it. She grew up in this. She's been to Misa. She's been to spiritual stuff. And so have all three of my children. Now, at the end of the day, if they decide not to practice this, they decide not to practice it. And you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to force them to do something they might not want, or, they don't like getting dirty, because it is a dirty practice. A lot of people don't understand what I mean by that. I'm talking about dirty as physically getting dirty. There's a lot of things to these practices that a lot of people don't understand. You have to go to the mountains. You have to go to the rivers. You have to go to the oceans. You have to go to the crossroads, depending on what Orisha you're getting crowned, or you're helping people do these things to make sure that they're okay, right? I'm okay with that. I have no problem. My kids don't do as much of the work with the herbs as I do, but when you work in Santo, you work with a lot of herbs. You're breaking them down. You're praying on them. Our prayers for a person's health and their well-being are ours. That's why the initiations are 7 days long. This isn't you decide today you want to get initiated and that's it. It doesn't work like that. And then you don't have one person helping you with your health or whatever the things that you're trying to better yourself at. You have 20, 30 people helping you. So these are a bunch of different energies bouncing off of a person that's a newborn. That's why we have a Yavoraje. Yavoraje is the year of you being reborn. You're being a baby and you're babied. That's why when you're a Yavo in our practice, when you just get recently initiated, you can't hold hands. You're not allowed to hold hands. You're not allowed to have physical touch. Now you can have that with your children. First 3 months, I think you're not supposed to do stuff with your spouse in that aspect. But do you get what I mean? There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand. And I was a Yavo for my year and 18 days, but because my kids were Yavo, I continued being a Yavo for over 2 years. That's a lot of things, a lot of something that, a lot of things that I had to do as a parent to maintain that for my children. I wouldn't allow them, I wouldn't screw up so my kids knew better. I had to be the symbol of being good and behaving. These practices aren't easy. A lot of people assume they are. They're not.
Well, congratulations on that. That is not something that a lot of people can mentally handle, that they can carry through, that they can pass on effectively. And it seems like you've done all of those things very efficiently. That's very huge.
Well, imagine dressing in white. So prior to me getting crowned or me doing Santo or Orisha, I wore white almost every day for 6 years. Then I did my year. And then I also assisted with my kids. And, look, to this day, I'm still wearing a lot of white. Yes, I do wear colors because I didn't get the prohibition. So there's a lot of prohibitions in these practices that a lot of people don't understand. Do you know that women that you can't put any makeup on? So for that year, you can't wear makeup. For that year, you can't wear deodorant. You're not supposed to wear deodorant. For that year, you can't have anything that has any types of perfumes. So, your bar of soap? Nope. If you have problems with your skin, yeah, you could do the oatmeal one. There's maybe, depending on the house that you come from, you might be able to use anything other than Castile if you have issues with your skin. But the reality is, no. So it depends on what, the homie that you come from, or what we call the ile, so the house that you're in. But for the most part, you can't do much. When you're yabo, you can't go out, you can't party. Oh, you can't dance. Women can't wear makeup. You have to be completely covered. Men can escape it a little bit, but women cannot. You can't dye your hair. You can get a letra. There's a marking that could be placed on you that you cannot dye your hair. You cannot dye your hair. I am so happy I didn't. La la. I didn't get that. But there's some that they can't wear makeup. They can't this, they can't that. They can't wear colored. Like, see, here's the funniest part. I have the one where you're supposed to wear a lot of white. If not, like, technically with who I have crowned, I should just be wearing white for the most part. I'm not saying that's what I have. But I have a mark on my stuff that if I'm going to go to a party, I should dress all in black. Imagine from seeing me in white for 8 years and I show up to a party dressed in black. Oh, the rain. Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. The sereno. So like when the sun goes down, that kind of fog, that kind of mist, you have to always be covered. You have to be in the home before the sun goes down. That's one fucking thing. Your head always has to be covered. Us women, not only does our head have to be covered and we have to be fully covered, we have to have a shawl on because that's our protection for the year. I wore my shawl for a year and 18 days. I wore my shawl. My shawl's inside my obatala. The things that we had to go through. Oh, no open-toed shoes. You can have sandals on. You can have no chanclas on if you left the house, like in your house, depending. Because if your godfather showed up or your godparents showed up and you had sandals on, can't. Oh yes. Here's one of the other issues. For us, we have to eat on something called an estera. On estera, I remember, so if you're not the oldest, you can't get up until the oldest gets up, or the people older than you get up, you can't get up. The restrictions, people.
That is a whole nother level of discipline and not adoration.
Yeah, you can't eat at the table. So this is the other thing, you can't eat out. You can't eat out. Oh, bro. You can't eat out. I remember, have you ever been to like a McDonald's and they have like the thing for the wheelchair, but it's like right next to a table, but they have a thing for the wheelchair. I remember I busted out my estera. I sat down on my estera. And, I was with other santeros or other people in my religion. And they all looked at me and they're like, well, what in the fuck are you doing? I go, I got initiated, and if this is what I have to do, this is how I eat. I put my burger, my fries. So my burger and my fries got on my plate, on my fork I think I had a fork and a spoon. No, I had a spoon. And my cup, everything got poured out and got poured into my cup. I didn't speak to anybody while I was eating. I ate all my food. Once I saw my elders, they were done. I asked permission if I can get up because I was done with my food. And they all looked at me. They're like, oh, with you, we ain't going anywhere with you. And I go, I don't like eating out. I go, I'm eating at home. I go, I think I was like 6 months already. And they looked at me. They're like, oh, dude, you're taking this to the letter. I go, I did this for my health. I weighed 93 pounds when I got initiated. When I got out that year and 18 days, I weighed 130 pounds. I gained 40 fucking pounds. Bitch, I gained 40 pounds. I was 93, and then when I got out of Yaboraje, I was like 130. I went in wearing a size 6 in little girls. 6. My daughters were wearing a 10 and a 12, or a 10 and a 14. Like, no, we don't play. You have to say, when you're in this practice and you're a Yabo, you have to say hello to everybody, and as long as you're not in the kitchen, you're supposed to bow down to them and ask for their blessings. A lot of people don't understand that, you got to do your push-ups. If you're not doing your push-ups, and there's a lot of people that were older that they'll leave you on the ground and they won't pick you up. There's so much disrespect and so much, people just don't get it. You got to live it. You got to live it. When you live it, you'll understand it. And I'm not saying that everybody in the practice is mean or they're bad. I'm not saying they're all good either, because we all have our own specific characters. But you go through it. When you're a Yabo, you go through it. Now, there's some Yaborajes or Yaboses that have an easier time. I don't know of that one. Still haven't met that one yet. Usually children have it a little bit easier, and even then it's a bit frustrating.
Right, because the nature of a child is to be a child.
Yeah, well, they want color.
Yeah.
They want color.
Yeah.
And I mean, and here's the worst thing. If you don't do your Yaboraje right, first of all, everything that you do wrong is going to end up happening for the rest of your life, supposedly, on how they explained it to me. So if you fuck up your Yaboraje, you're fucking up a lot of other shit. That's how it was explained to me, 1. Number 2, because these are children, and let's say, it's hard for the white and whatever. Once you turn 18, you're going to have to redo your Yaboraje again. Because then the Santo says, okay, remember you did your Yaboraje when you were 8, you were 7, you were 6? Well, now you're going to have to do it right. Or I'm going to teach you a lesson. I don't need no lessons. I don't need no lessons. I'm good. I learned the first time, no second time, no 2 time. Just one. I'm good. To the point that, like, when my kids did Santo and everything, we went to this tambor. And I remember my guardian angel came down. Talk to everybody, because I wasn't looking to talk to him or anything. I was trying to stay the hell away from him. But he talked to me, and he's like, I wasn't a Yabo, but he called me a Yabo. I threw myself down. I asked respect and all this and that. And he goes, "You're still wearing white?" He's like, "Your Yaboraje has been done." And I'm like, it's been done for a while. It's been like 3-4 years. And he goes, "So you didn't do only your Yaboraje, you did your son's Yaboraje, and you did both of your daughters' Yaboraje?" And I go, "Yes." And I'll still stay the same. The only thing is I can wear makeup now. Which wasn't a lot. I just like wearing like lipstick and maybe a little bit of eyeliner. And he's like, "Oh, you've done so well that even your children are glowing."
Aw, that's so
That was just
awesome.
like, it was one of those like, he's like, "You remember everything?" He was like, "You remember everything that was so difficult for you?" And I go, "Yes." And he's like, "Have you noticed that it isn't as difficult for your children?" I go,
Beautiful.
and he's like, "Oh, it's all because you wore the white."
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps everywhere. That's so freaking awesome, Mercedes. God dang, that's awesome.
It's like, I'm telling you, a lot of the things that I saw in my Yaboraje, the things that I went through, remember, I lost my godfather less than a year after I finished my Yaboraje. I wasn't even 2 when he passed away. And I learned a lot. I was in over 300 crownings by then. In less than 2 years, I was in 300 crownings. Like, and we were doing like 2 and 3s, 2 and 3s, because my godfather was just like a hoe. He was like, let's do more work, more work, more work. And this is not even talking about the aldimusas that we were doing. So, the what we would call minor orishas that you receive. And I'm calling them minor because, they're more everyday. You don't get them crowned. All the stuff that I've seen, I was just like, and for my godfather to pass, that was a kicker. That was a kicker. And he was there and he's like, oh, you can do this? And I go, I think so. I was like, oh, I think so. He's like, I want to test you. I want to see. And I did the thing. And then he's like, you pay attention. I remember him telling me, a few months before he died. He's like, I'm noticing that out of all these people, you take it, you have a harsh character. He told me that's how he explained it to me. He's like, you have a harsh character, but yet you do things the way it's supposed to be done. And I go, well, why am I going to not, if I'm not going to do it, then I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm going to do it the way it needs to be done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
What's
that's how you taught me.
Right.
Yeah, you do it with your full heart. You don't do it partially. And, even to my convictions, if it takes me, I have to stay up 36 hours, I'm going to stay up the 36 hours to get it done and make sure the job is done right. I don't like doing things half. I don't, if I don't have all the ingredients, it's not going to get done. It's actually something that was instilled and ingrained when I finalized a lot of things in my practices. You don't do, like, let's say I'm going to do something for Elsa, and this has to do with an elf. And the elf is saying, well, you need to have elderberry. And I tell you, hey, baby, I don't got elderberry. I'm going to have to order it and you're going to have to wait. No, but I want it today. I go, okay, then you got to do it with somebody else.
Right.
Do it with somebody else because he is specifically asking for elderberry. I do not have it. You don't have it. And I got to order it. Hey, it's going to take 3 weeks, but I'm sorry. It's going to take 3 weeks. And that doesn't even include the time of me actually doing the working.
Yeah, that's very different because there's a lot of mainstream stuff on this app, on, other social medias that are like, oh, well, just if you don't have it, just improvise, do with what you can, da 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 da. And it's like,
that's why things don't come out right.
Exactly. That's a bit chaotic. And, when you're talking about the type of dedication and discipline that you have in your practices in which you're initiated, like that stuff don't fly. And I think that really, can set a strong practitioner aside from someone who in the modern terms is a quote unquote baby witch or a baby or whatever it is.
No, we don't say that word. Somebody that doesn't know exactly what they're doing. They just don't have the knowledge or they don't have the experience.
Right.
But most of them are doing it for this.
And it's just so trendy. And it's like, there is nothing trendy about like doing this stuff lightly, whether you're initiated or not. And that's just so crazy how there's so much out there. Like, just do whatever and do whenever, whatever, just do what you want. There are consequences and energetic exchange for everything. And I think the way that you've explained that is it's good because you're right. Like if you have to wait, there's also other circumstances that have to be in alignment. Like you said, like the lunar phase or, the ingredients, all that. And I do believe that's important, whatever, religion or whatever you're practicing.
So well, here's the other thing is too, the herbs that you're using, did you start working with them during the day for a positive or did you start working with them at night for a negative?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And a lot of people don't pay attention to that.
Right.
Are you working with a certain energy? Like one of the things that I've had to learn is, okay, Mondays are the days for road openers. Monday is the day for road openers. Yes, the first of the month, even if it lands on a different day of the week. First of the month and Mondays are road openers. Why? let's talk about it. Let's let's educate ourselves. Why? Monday is, you could use it as Moon Day. Okay. It's the day in my practice where the roads are open. That's the day that we dedicate to Alewa, and he is the owner in my practice of the roads. Okay, put that to the side. Fridays. Now let's go to another practice that we haven't really talked about. But how about Freya? How about Venus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does Friday stand for?
Freya's Day.
Love.
Love.
Those are the days that you do love workings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let's go all the way to the left. You know what's a good day to do a return to sender or to send somebody some left hook shit?
Would it be Tuesday?
Saturday. Work with Saturn to fuck them up.
Ooh, okay. So Tyr, another god within Freya's kind of pantheon, is like Tuesday. Thursday would be Thursday. So I'm like, your power, Tyr, the power symbol.
So Thursday would be a good day to use a storm energy or energetic, like something that you need to really amp up.
Yeah, with the power of Thor. Yeah, it just depends on the different pantheons. When I see different things, as far as power days, incorporating the planet.
So sigils, the herbs, what you're praying for, what you want, what kind of energy you're looking for, what amps you up or your spirit team up. So let's say you're doing whatever and you don't have necessarily the energy. Yes, you're getting the energy of the herbs, the fire, the this, that, whatever it is that you're using, right? On Thursday, you could use the power of a storm. You could use the power of the thunder, the lightning, to help you get centered, to give out that extra boost of energy. That's why you could also use a catalyst of crystals. So crystals as in clear quartz. Another is selenite. Thank you. So depending on anything that could amp you up, Thursday would be a great day if you don't have the energy to do so, or it's not enough. Thank you. So that would be a great day to use something like that. Another natural power. You could also use water, whether it's from the sink, the river, or the ocean, whatever. I mean, these are great places to have that, but that would also help amp up whatever working you're going to do.
Smart. Yeah, planetary influence is very strong, and then the elements. It breaks you out of the pantheons and really concentrates the strengths of the days, because the planets do rule the days as well. Very, very, very intriguing, interesting, and useful.
Yeah, because see, Monday nights are moon days.
Monday, moon day, like it.
So if you're going to be using anything at night, you could do, the moon actually influences the momentum. In other words, the momentum as the energy, happiness, sadness, love, because the moon in astrology is how you feel, your feelings. Tiny. Yes. So there's just different ways of working with it. And that would be one way of looking at it. And then Sunday is fire magic.
Ooh.
Like hot. It's like heavy. It's like lust.
Ooh. Okay.
Not all lust is negative. I mean, unless you're doing it at night. But Sunday. Have a good night. Thank you for her gifts.
Thank you, Duke Oracle. Thank you so much.
There's just a different way of doing it. If you're, you want something and, you have to battle through it. I don't know. To me, Thursday would be a day that you envelop a lot of extra energy from other sources to push it through. I don't know what Wednesday stands for. I think Wednesday is like a day for justice. I think the Wednesday is the day that you should be doing justice workings. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know what the planetary aspect is for Wednesday.
I'm like, oh, I should know that. Let's see. I do believe I have some information about that here. As I find it, I will tell you here.
Odin. So Odin in the tarot deck is the Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not that I know much about Norse mythology or anything.
Inevitably, we all have to learn a bit of it. They're so intertwined into some of the most interesting things.
It's not labeled. Oh God, practically sage. I think that's the worst part of sheets, when they're not labeled or the labels are old. And you got to figure it out. Guys, tap that screen. Share the live. I've been trying to do the tappity tap taps. Don't let me.
Okay, so I did find an appendix that is, this is not Facebook screenshot information or anything. This is published in Llewellyn's date book for 2024 in the appendix. Daily magical influences read as such: Monday, the moon, peace, healing, caring, psychic awareness. Tuesday, Mars, passion, courage, aggression, and protection. Wednesday, Mercury, study, travel, divination, wisdom. Thursday, Jupiter, expansion, money, prosperity, generosity. Friday, Venus, love, friendship, reconciliation, beauty. Saturday, Saturn, longevity, endings, homes. And Sunday, of course, the sun, healing, spirituality, success, strength, and protection. They go on to give color correspondences for each day, and those are according to the planetary influence that they have. Which, I mean, it depends on what colors you want to incorporate for your spells, or, you know, whatever it is. But it does say that Monday leans towards gray, lavender, white, silver, and ivory. Tuesday leaning towards red, white, black, gray, maroon, and scarlet. Wednesday leaning towards yellow, brown, white, and topaz. Thursday, green, turquoise, white, purple, and crimson. Friday, white, pink, rose, purple, and coral. Saturday, brown, gray, blue, indigo, black. And Sunday, yellow, orange, gold, and amber. Interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
The planetary influence is so awesome.
All I gotta say is color magic.
Love it.
Lucumi, we do a lot of color magic.
Right? I thought you guys did. I know the Orishas really require a certain color for certain things. I know Santa Muerte does too. Color magic's very, very, very important and very potent, even with them doing like chakra work as well, don't you find?
Yeah, well, chakra work, it has its own colors as well, especially when you're looking at somebody else's chakra system. You could tell when something's out of sync because a certain color isn't as lit up, or where they're unbalanced, because you'll notice things aren't they're shifted incorrect. And it's, to me, it's color coded.
Right.
Root chakra, red. Is it solar plexus? I believe that's like an orange.
Yellow.
Yellow. Which is the one that's underneath the, which one's the one that's at the navel?
So solar is at the navel, and then sacral's at the hips, where root is at the tailbone. Red, orange, yellow, heart, green, throat like a light blue, third
Yeah,
eye.
sky blue. Lavender or purple, and then this one's a white.
Sometimes purple.
Yeah, they have a variety. It's just like one of the colors that it could be.
Absolutely. And if you think about the color correspondences in each day with the different powers of the planets, you could correspond that with, healing each chakra per day of the week. There's 7 chakras per day of the week. They can all kind of be categorized. And if you wore those colors, bring that color to yourself and use that for your healing as well.
What color would I be missing? I think I would need them all.
You'd have to give a weekly regimen, span all the colors.
I look at people for chakras. I don't see the colors. I see the spirit. Okay, so you see their
ethereal bodies.
Could be the ethereal bodies or their aura. Yeah, you have that aura thing. You love auras.
Oh, neat.
Okay, girlfriend, explain. Sage, what do you see in me? Oh.
She's like, darkness. I see darkness. No, you're wearing white. She's got to see the light. It's got to be light.
No, I like fucking with her. I've known Sage for a little while. She's fun to mess with. Be like, ready to go to bed?
Oh my body.
Can you? I love you. Because I'm here.
Come on, go potty.
Go potty. Let's go. Let's go potty. Hold on. I gotta make sure that they go out potty. I don't want them to go potty inside. Come on.
That's so awesome, Sage. Just different brightness levels.
Let's go. Go. Go, baby buddy. Go. Go. Go.
Usually when I see the chakras, I'll have to close my eyes. I'll see different spinning spheres with the different colors. I also use a pendulum to kind of show me if they're open or closed, so that I can get that confirmation without the sight.
Yeah, I see it.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I see with my eyes closed. Okay, that's interesting. So have you ever done scrying before, Sage? Do your eyes go gray that way too? It always freaks me out because sometimes with flame scrying or even just water or like obsidian scrying, my eyes start to go gray. And sometimes I'll see purple. I'm like, what is going on? That is so awesome. I'm going to look up that word. I can't say that I've used it so often, but I've seen it and I don't want to mispronounce it. But that is absolutely amazing.
Now I want more kisses. But I want more kisses.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flame I can only do so long. That's why I look at like the darker surfaces, like the obsidian scrying, or sometimes like the water in an obsidian bowl. Sometimes I'll try like crystal. But yeah, the light starts kind of hurting. So I'll try to push through it. But yeah, the cornea burn is real. Oh, that's interesting.
So don't visualize in my head. So
This
So
discussion has gotten so technical. I
okay,
love it.
this is okay. So I'm gonna explain something.
Yes.
With me, I get taken to different things. So like when I'm reading you, remember, so can you explain to people here your first reading with me?
Me? Yeah. I felt called out. Felt like I didn't have any clothes on. I'm just kidding. I definitely. My first reading with Mercedes was
Which was a surprise, by the way.
It was like just surprise, gotcha. Now you're sitting. Now you're sitting. Now I'm gonna tell you all these things, and it was like a green screen was pulled behind me, and that green screen was allowing her to project whatever was around me directly into her clear vision, in which she could not only hear the things trying to communicate, but the things that were around me, the different deities that were trying to tell me things. It was all coming through, and she was seeing with piercing clarity. She was also able to show me her aura, change the room, like expand and kind of close her aura a little bit to kind of show like what I was looking at, what she was looking at. It was a very, very cool experience. I would say a lot of it felt like there's no way that she can be picking up on these things without some sort of like green screen or something behind me, like telling her all these specifics, because she picked up on things that in spiritual sense I had made commitments to, that were kind of calling to her to remind me. And it was just...
Oh, shall I state that I never busted out the cards?
Yeah, and that's what I think is so special about the way that you read. You don't need that tool as like, let's say my strength is tarot. I do that for a living all day, every day. Like I'll read it like boom, boom, boom. Like that's my favorite tool. It's a tool, but it's something that I study, that I memorize that information, whether my third eye is active or not is to be said. But with you, your third eye had such piercing clarity. It was like you stepped through into a veil, and then you removed whatever veil separated you and I. And that's the part that was so like, whoa, she didn't step into my energy. She stepped into a different dimension that was looking directly at whatever dimensions were surrounding me, because of the aspects that you were able to see, hear, feel, describe. I can't say it any other way. And I had a mentor before, and she had been reading people as a born clairvoyant person since she was like 8. She died when she was closer to 80. She was the only one that was able to get me anywhere, and I say near the piercing clarity that you have. Because again, it's like you didn't even, I was like, you came through the phone. No, I think you kind of like came through realities and were able to stand across from me without ever moving where you're at. You never moved your spirit. Your spirit never like appeared in my energy field. However, all the energies around me were readable beyond any kind of doubt and with piercing accuracy.
That's how I read.
That's amazing. For me, I was like, okay, the tarot, I don't even want to hear. I don't even want to hear what the tarot has to say. I want to hear what Mercedes has to say.
Oh, and this was a reading that originally was supposed to be for a friend of hers who booked the reading. And this was like, oh, I'm on live. And he's like, hey, can I book a reading with you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Gives me a time. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to get up. Once I'm done here, I'm going to shower, and then I'm going to give you a call. We'll do a reading or whatever. I was actually late for dinner because I had a dinner date with my sister and my nephew. Because I was, I think, on with you for like 3 hours. And at the end, I'm like, oh, by the way, do you really want your reading? Because I haven't even busted out the cards yet. And she was like,
see, I know the cards. And I'm like, no, I don't even care what the cards have to say. I want to know what you have to say. And that's crazy, because drawing the line like that between the type of readings that you can provide was like definitely a preference to like, oh, no, I don't want to hear, because I can pull the card. No. holy mess, what you're seeing, I could never get from the cards unless your psychic sense or third eye was active and using the cards as the tool to do so. And I think that's a big misconception, you know, for people with tarot. They think, you know, it's all, you know, just the psychic stuff. No, like you can actually study it and learn the language, and the language is something you're translating. But then it can also be a divination tool, a tool to open your mind's eye, or something to give you the information to continue to guide you on what you're supposed to say to someone. And Mercedes, like, holy mess. Like I I have never been like, okay, just leave the tarot out of it. Oh my gosh. What you've told me is so like, oh, so like immensely like illuminating and helpful that if you want to give me cards, you can do that later. Like, holy mess.
I guess if we need some like clarity because we didn't understand this section, okay, we can
Then
go
the cards, yeah.
because maybe I'm seeing it one way, but it's not being explained to me clearly.
That's what I'm saying. With you stepped into a different dimension, but you stepped into one of the dimensions that was able to see everything in a 360 of what was around me. That's why I'm like, no, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, but your spirit didn't travel from your body or enter my energy field. It was your sight. I remember when we first started, I was like, oh, he. You're like, no, oh, he. Let's get into this. And you like were able to look at the screen, and it was almost like you were like reading a script or something. I could not. I was like, how? What? Oh my Lord!
Never met her before either. I like my cold readings.
Very impromptu.
No, he. No, he.
No, he. Yeah, she did. She was like, no, this is serious shit. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Oops, I'll stop smiling. Oh God.
And I'm like, I think you need some water. And she's like, how do you?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll just shush, drink the water. Ah! I felt so like definitely humbled. Again, definitely very naked spiritually, because I was like, no one has ever been able to experience the things that I thought were private to my own mind, the way that you were able to read me. It still resonates with me to this day. I think about it all the time. I'm like, holy, when am I going to get another one of those? I need to prepare myself and have a gallon of crystal water, maybe some snacks, just hang out and see what all
3 hours. It was like a 3-hour read.
I can't wait to schedule another one of those, because I do believe in the coming months, or at least by the end of 2024, having another one of those. I think it was end of September, maybe August that we did this.
I think it was beginning of August.
Yeah, it'd be a great like touch base type thing that, again, I find immense value in. And I think your prices are so incredibly reasonable for what you do lend and what you do give when it comes to these readings and the way that you read. I can't say beyond my mentor that I have had anything near that. That is just really neat. Really, really neat. So the past life regression that you do.
There's past life readings, and then there's past life regression.
Right.
A reading I can do with the cards, and then it's almost as if it's mediumship.
Right, that makes sense.
Now, a regression is actually using Reiki, but you would have to have the Fool's card on your end, and it's basically a meditation session, but you have a notebook and I have a notebook, and then I push you to go to one of your lifetimes, your past lives.
That is so awesome. No, definitely would be a strong help for you.
When I've done that, one of the people that I've done it with, I've done it to a few people, and this was just, I want people to understand, this is me playing. I enjoy it. I've taken them to that past life. Like, they start seeing shit. Like, this, they knew what they got yeeted from, their family life, where they lived at, location. Get this, location. While I've been around to like go around their home, see everything, animals, this, the land where they're at. I get to see their burial. I get to see just a little bit of everything in 3 to 6 hours. I write down my notes, they write down their notes, and I pull them out before they get to experience the eating part. They get close to it, but they don't have to actually experience it.
I think what's so profound about that is that a lot of us feel alone when we see these things and we feel these things and feel it resonant. And to have somebody like yourself there with you and confirming these things is just so like otherworldly.
Yeah, and then I could find out how many times you've been here as one sex or the other. Maybe this is the first time you're here as a female. Maybe all you like is being a female, or you've been here mainly as a male, whatever the thing may be. We get those ideas during that experience as well. I'll have my opinion, you'll have yours. So like I said, I've done this a few times. I do it for funsies.
This is like life altering for me and other people. And you're like, oh, this is so fun. I'm like, holy God. Like, and you're like, yes, please keep your arms, legs, and everything in the ride at all times. Okay, thanks.
So this is the trip. I'm going to explain something to you. The person that I did, the first one that I did it with, that wasn't me, I took them to this experience. I saw what eventually caused their passing. They were hunting, and somehow it was raining, and they were like going after this specific deer or whatever, elk, if you want to call it that. But there was like a mudslide, and they got kind of somewhat crushed. The kids found them like a day later. They did bring them home or whatever, but they were pretty mangled. So eventually they succumbed to their injuries. And back then there was no medication. Think of 1,000, 2,000 years ago.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, met their wife, met their kids, met the priest. So I drew what they had on their headstone. I can't draw. Now you tell me if that wasn't for funsies. It's for funsies. Now the person, when they got out of there, they were crying. I was just like, okay, I was just trying to see if I can do it. I can.
I watched one YouTube, I think it was a Hindu practitioner, someone within the Hindu faith and religion, walking this girl, through the past life regression. Yeah, like she was like, okay, you're gonna see this, and do you see that? Do you feel that? What about this? Is this there? And of course, the person was like crying. They were like, oh my God. But the amount of understanding and illumination that you as the guide lens, like, God, that was
so it's like I'm holding your hand while you're going through it, and then before the passing phases start happening, I pull you out of it. But by then I've already seen more than you have. You've probably only seen the room and your family, your kids, blah, 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 and whoever else. While I was around your house, I saw your kitchen, saw your bathroom. Like I went through your stuff, I went through your notes. I was doing the things. I went and I followed you. Like it was almost like I'm like 4 or 5 steps behind you. When you're hunting, when you're this, when you're that, and I see the whole tragedy, blah, 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 blah. I see like when your kids find you, this, that. And it's just.
That's what it felt like when you were reading me. I was like, yo, she's like right here. What?
Well, it's kind of like I'm right there, I'm right there, I'm right here, I'm right there, I'm there, I'm here. And like I'm seeing it from a multitude of different views, because let's say one view I can't understand at all. I'm seeing it from another view so I can get it. So I'm kind of all there and everywhere. And ma'am, when that person came out of the reading, they were just and I'm like, you good? You good? Because I'm good. I want a coffee.
Oh, don't mention a coffee. Now I have to make one. I was deciding between red wine or coffee, and I'm like, oh, it's a coffee. A little cafecito.
Remote viewing is not being there, but it's like I'm doing all that and I'm there. It's almost like a fragment of me can be there, but I can fragment myself more so I could see it from a multitude of views. So I'm not just remote viewing, I'm feeling. So I know if it's cold, it's hot, if it's wet. I started smelling things, I started tasting things. And mind you, I have like no sense of taste or smell at this time because, I'm just recently recovering from COVID.
I tell her third eye tastes and smells for her. And I would say that's walking then, right? Because that means you're walking a path.
They'd say I'm a dream walker, so I do a lot of walking and I do a lot of what is it called? Astral projection.
I believe that. Yeah.
But I'm doing the astral projection from the person. And I'm still, and by the way, I'm doing a bunch of shit at the same time. So I'm physically, like right now I'm sitting, but like, let's say if I'm doing that, I'm all around and I'm not meditating.
That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing is that I've seen people that go into consciousness and you can see it. They travel, like their face is different. They go gray, you go gray, different stuff. None of that happened. And I can see that's probably what will happen in my, past life regression or my past life reading, because you do have a dimension way of being in multiple places at once without making your physical body a part of it, but you're feeling and walking a path that I thought I was on alone. That's just so crazy and profound.
Imagine the person knew that I was holding their hand.
Wild.
It was almost as if I came and helped them before they completely passed on.
So that's so cool. Oh my God.
So one of my friends that's on here, when I met her, she's like, I recognize you from somewhere. And I'm like, I recognize you too, but I don't know from where. Come to find out, a while back, this person did something, they weren't correctly in their right mind. And mind you, I don't know anything about any of this. Like, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I've never met this person before. And I'm like, you did this, this, this. And I go, and you've seen my face before. And the person's like, I've seen your face before, but I don't know from where. And I go, think about it. When you almost got hit by this. And she's like, that was you. I'm like, yeah, that was me.
What? How did that happen?
Don't know.
What? Time traveler. She's a time traveler, everyone. She just outed herself. She has her time machine in her basement. I know it.
I don't got a basement. I live in California.
That's exactly the type of answer that a person with a basement time machine would say. Mm-hmm. No, but that's the thing. Your book should be called I Don't Need a Time Machine. That's what it should be called.
No, and I could go there and I could see it. And I could see it with with either it's your third eye that helps me, or I don't know how to explain it.
I would say that's maybe making a connect with the consciousness that the other person has. Becoming in resonant frequency with the consciousness of your target. Because you're seeing through their targets. Oh yeah, but you know what I'm saying? You're seeing through their consciousness, and you're becoming that consciousness while also maintaining your own consciousness to be separate from it. So I would say there's a part of you that stays and a part of you that connects and goes.
And I do it
seamlessly. Well, seamlessly.
Simultaneously while I'm still making coffee and like making dinner and still this and because I'm moving around and I'm doing shit.
That's definitely a gift. That's definitely the gift of connecting to consciousness and doing it so easily that your physical body is not on autopilot, but almost. It's connected enough. That's awesome.
So these are the type of things that people right now, I don't think there's a lot of people that can do that that way. The way that I do it, and I'm not making myself better than anyone else because I'm not. I haven't met people like me.
Well, I have a question in that regard. of course, you're not saying any of that, but in that regard, would you attribute this gift to something that perhaps you feel that you were born with outside of your initiated religions, or is this a result of discipline and dedication to your practice and like practicing to do this?
I don't know how to answer that.
I only know one other person that's told me about this somewhat of a gift, like they can put themselves in autopilot and go to different places. And they're not somebody that's in I guess an ATR like you, let's just say that. They're in a different organized religion, but they don't necessarily practice to open the third eye or anything of the regard. I kind of see it more as like something perhaps that you were born with, and that is like complemented, elevated with the type of practice and discipline that you put forth in your initiations. But that sounds like
I don't think it has anything to do with my initiations. I think my initiations,
me and Sage both only have one.
so I'm going to try to explain it in my words.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with discipline. Not because of my practices. Discipline has nothing to do with that. I think I've probably been able to do this at a young age.
Yeah, I think she was born with it.
It could just be her spirit. Yeah. So I see different frequencies or I shouldn't say frequencies, I call them fragments, like pieces. So people leave pieces, even though they don't realize it.
No, you'd still be right with frequency. I think you said it right.
You could call it I see a piece of it. So that's why I'm calling it pieces. So it could be a fragment. It could be frequency. It could be color. Something will tell me something's wrong with it. Like, I'm right here. Something's wrong with it. This is like, I'm not trying to look for it. It just pops.
Yeah, energy.
So if this is something from your childhood, I'll start telling you, hey, you got picked on, you got bullied, you got, knocked in the eye, blah, 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 blah. You were about 4 or 5. I see that. I picked that up. I wasn't trying to. It just landed in my hand and I could see it. And I get taken to it. Sometimes I'm seeing it from your eyes. Sometimes I'm seeing it from somebody else's eyes. Sometimes I'm like behind you. Sometimes I'm in front. I'm on top. I'm the bottom. It just depends. But I don't try. So like people say, well, you're pulling on my energy if you're reading me. And I'm like, I'm not.
No.
So it's when people are around me, I can pick up on the energy that's not correct before I find the correct. So I see everything that's wrong before I see what things are correct. Am I making any sense? So I see everything that's not okay, that like just pops in my face. Yeah, I was taught that. Wait, hold on. I was taught that we leave soul fragments behind and leave energy behind. We have to call them back and reinterview. Yeah, so here's the thing. All the unhealed parts of you, I'm going to see first. That's it. And even if that was energy from 50 decades ago, I'm going to get taken back to that moment. Where that happened. How that happened. How it could have changed, or what your regrets were that caused it. That's what I deal with. I could see the cause and the effect, or, let's say you deserved it or you didn't deserve it type of thing. And I can figure out, to me, it's a puzzle of the bigger piece. And then I can get that section all fixed. I can fix it. Don't know why, but I can fix it. And I tell you how to fix it. And if you don't follow my instructions, that's you. That's not on me. I did my job. So yeah, you could call it soul fragments. You could call it energy. You could, I really don't know what to call it. I just know that I can do things that I don't know what the words are, and I can. It's like from one moment to another, Just like with Sage over here, she's had an Mama, are you back at the theater already? And let me say this. Have you had an issue at the theater where the lights on top, you're moving, it looks like you're moving one set to the other because you make sets, but the lights have been having issues and you've had issues with them for the last 2 or 3 years? And it's a spirit that walks on top of there or something because you've seen something walk on there. And sometimes when you're moving a set from one area to the other, you've seen something walk by. And this has been going on for like 2 years, maybe 3.
Bless you.
Thank you. So that's one of the things that I saw. Like you're pushing a set, and when I'm saying a set, it's like let's say it has to do with a garden or a castle with a garden or something, and you're pushing it because it like almost folds into 3 pieces, and you're pushing it, almost rolling it to the other side, and then the lights were moving or they're flickering, and when you look up you've seen something, and then another spirit has passed you by. But has something like that happened to you? Because that's like, I saw like 4 or 5 seconds of you pushing something. You were just like, fuck no, I don't want to do this no more. Or this part of it, I don't want to do no more. They don't listen. That
Not down this. Jeez.
it's a mean little spirited child there.
Rude.
Rude much. Yeah. Yeah, it caused you to have some changes. I mean, you still want to do the job, but you don't want to do that specific job. You love what you do, but at the same time, you're just like, not no more. You want to play like that with me? We ain't playing these games. You did something to the point that you did something to the wall. Like you marked the wall, or you did something. You did, I don't know if it's a sigil. You did something. And we're like, oh, this ain't happening again. I started with management 3 years ago. I was right 2-3 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy the things that I can do without trying to focus on doing them because I can do them. But then when it comes to my personal shit, I can't get that handled because all my other shit isn't quite right. Go figure. I can just step into so I can be walking towards a room and I could already understand what's going to happen in that room. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but that's a trippy part, and I don't like it. I'll get the chills, I'll get this, I'll get that. It's really, really weird. And it's not something that I'm trying to do. It's just something I naturally do, which is a little bit, it can frustrate anyone. At least it frustrates. I'm very uncomfortable because my dog, hold on, I need to show you guys this.
Oh,
He's taking half of the couch. He's a small dog. Small dog, and he's taking half the couch.
just a tiny little baby.
I need to get my leg over him because he's making my leg. Oh, he just wanted you to cuddle. He's the potato tots. He's just the potato tots. He's just potatoing. There. I'm telling you, and I'm all crouched up and stuff because he doesn't. So cute, though. Like, he's like literally on all my clothes, like the sweater and the sweatshirt that I had on when I took off. He's like, I'll show you. Get you guys off of here.
He smells like mom.
He's like, so I had my feet like crouched up like this. But he's like on my shirt, on the sweater I had on.
Oh, my body aches. I wonder why. Looks down. Always crunching legs for dogs.
This dog loves living daylights out of me. He's in love with my boyfriend too. He loves playing with him. I'm telling you. Oh, and the reason why I like the dogs, because I'm doing the live, they didn't want to leave the room to go potty. So we're having the boyfriend take them out to make sure that they can go potty. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I deal with.
Do you feel like they see things like as well?
He is energetically you know when things are around. So I've had for the last so this is a weird thing. I'm just making a comment. And I've had these dogs when this happened. So roughly 4 years ago, this summer that passed, I was cleaning the pool. I had my 2 older dogs. I had these dogs. So I had a total of 5 dogs. And then I had like 4 or 5 cats at the time. I'm cleaning the pool, but I'm noticing that the pool isn't doing the thing that it needed to do. The suction wasn't doing its thing. So I have a tendency, which I was told to do. This is one of the reasons why I love my practice. Certain things you're told to do or watch out for. I was always told to look at where I'm walking. Well, I go around this corner where I have the sage bush, but the sage tree or bush wasn't as big as it is now. I saw a tail whip, and it goes. Grab every freaking dog, throw him inside, and I'm like, dude, that's a rattlesnake. Not knowing, never seen a fucking rattlesnake in my goddamn life. Never. It ate a 4 or 5 pound bunny rabbit.
Oh my.
In about 20 minutes, and usually it takes a while for it to. The firemen came. When we came back, the rattlesnake was like this already to bite. The rattlesnake, when it stood up, was to here to me. I'm 5 foot tall. That was a big old mother trucking rattlesnake. Okay? The sheriff or whatever the guy was, the paramedic or fireman, tells me, he's like, that rattlesnake was the grandfather of all rattlesnakes. His DNA is in every single rattlesnake that's over here.
Had to have been. That is ginormous to think about.
Since then, I've had an issue that I constantly have. Snakes pass by me. I've never been bitten, but then again, I don't fuck with them. Y'all tell me, what the fuck is that?
I've only encountered one. It was weird, and it was probably up to my waist, and it bit my German shepherds, and it came back a second year, and was trying to get all fighty and stuff. Mm-hmm. There was a giant. I think this was it had to have been a king snake. The next one that I saw It was at my haunted location over there. Nobody could get it to move. I went over there and was like, "You need to move, snake." Whatever I said to it, it like moved off. But those are the only encounters I've had with snakes, and I felt like they were both by magical means. And the fact that you were asked to like watch your step, and these things are comfortable slithering near you without like biting you, retaliating, or anything of the sort, I feel like it's magical means. Like, I don't know what the heck else.
I'm going to show you something. Give me a second. I got to go and find it. So, I think it was in September. Like I said, I was told to always look down, look at the floor, look at the ground.
Good night, Sage.
Good night, Mama. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Do I have it here? I might not have it anymore.
I call snakes danger noodles sometimes. They are very scary in nature. See?
Hey, that's a green rattlesnake. Look over. Let's talk about that. I was on the phone with my boyfriend and I went to throw something away. This is my front door. Mind you, this is the only way to come in and out except for the backyard. Yeah, baby. Oh, you're overheated now? You okay? You okay? No, do you want to still snuggles? Come here. Come here. Excuse me, I got it. You want to snuggle? Oh, you too hot. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here. I didn't kick you out. If you see his face. Come here. I'm not mad at you. Come here. I didn't want to kick you out. Come here. Come here. Come here. It's too cold. Come here. Oh God, the other one came too.
Well,
give me. Hold on. My babies. I think these are little bitty babies. What in the world are you doing? Hold on. So you see that snake? The boyfriend said that it wasn't a rattlesnake until I showed him the photo. When I showed him the photo, he said how beautiful a rattlesnake that I had in my front door that wouldn't let me cross. Make that make sense? Make that make sense.
How did you get back inside?
I had to go all the hell way around.
Hold on. I would have gotten a stick and I would have been, excuse you, sir, ma'am.
Oh, that rattlesnake stayed there for over 30 minutes.
Oh, hell no. No, I would have been like, excuse me, I would have been like throwing stuff like 10 feet away, just like, excuse me. I was just chunking stuff at it at that point, like, move along, sir or ma'am snake. That other one, that big king snake that I saw was laying across the threshold of that haunted house door.
Well,
it was like
my problem is that I don't know if I want to call it that I sense them, but they make me get I get that yucky feeling that I want to black out.
Ooh, interesting.
I don't know what that means.
How about scorpions? How do you feel around scorpions? Is it the same?
I flushed them down the toilet. I don't care.
Like, do you have like a sense for them, or do they make you feel some type of way, or is it just the snake?
It's just snake.
Interesting.
And this started happening 4 years ago, right before we got COVID. It was literally a month before we got COVID. It's almost like it tells, like the snake's tells me something. Hey, you're going to renew something. Something's going to change. There's going to be a big change, a big something. And I'm telling you, the snake was like over 5 foot tall is what the guy said. It was over 5 foot long.
So let's switch to warm-blooded. Let's talk again about how owls make you feel.
I just found a dead owl not too long ago.
Oh, well, last night there was one outside just going, oh, no. I was like, girl, I hear you. All right.
When I was pregnant with Gabby, I had an owl that used to come. Stop growling. You're not allowed to growl. No. Sorry. His boyfriend's dog is growling. No, we're not allowed to growl. You're a good dog. Even though he has to be on top of me too. So technically, look. Oh.
A Sadie sandwich.
That's the dog we found in the desert.
Aw, poor little doggy.
We found, well, I took out about like 30 espinas. I don't know what that's called in English.
Little cactus spines.
Mm-hmm.
Those are so painful.
Oh yeah, we found like 30 on him. I found 30 that I pulled out on him. What else? Yeah, it's just, I think my biggest issue is the snake. The owls kind of, like, it depends. But I've always had an issue with the white owls, the white brown owls that follow me. My house that I currently live at, we always have like family of owls. I don't know what that's about, but we've had it. And yeah, does it make me feel weird? Yeah, I used to get some weird feelings when I was pregnant with Gabby. I do feel owls have a connection with the extraterrestrials.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
I've
never heard that correlation before, but I find that very, very good.
Find out about owls and Alaska.
Interesting.
Study those two things and you're going to be like, oh girl, I got a lot to tell you.
I will. I'm going to write that down.
You want to go? Get on the bed then. If I'm too hot for you, baby, if I'm too hot for you, then you need to get on that bed. You want me to put... Hold on, I got to take my sweet little mans and put him on the bed. Come here. Come here. Because you're my sweet little mans. I'm going down. It's okay. I'm not mad at you or anything. What is it? Lay down. You took down now. So much of my mess. Try to, make this as nice as possible. I can only do so much. There. Okay. Gotcha. Come on. There we go. Got it. Mm-hmm. How are we doing now? Fixed everything. But yeah, I'm not saying all owls make me feel like that, but I did have an owl that would come and see me, and it would like land on my car and shit when I was pregnant with my daughter. So there's a lot of things about owls and Alaska that talk about extraterrestrials. And it could be these people, over there, something goes on over there.
Oh, for sure.
Borealis and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm. I don't know which of these shows it was, but they talked about different tribes of people that had like these extraterrestrial ability types that were a little more humanoid. One of them that resonated really well was the Moon-Eyed people. And the Moon-Eyed people kind of like gave that like owl look, gave that like very like, ooh, very different vibration to them. And a lot of the people that witness these different spirit animals or the different energies tend to be more native in nature, right? And there's a lot of different tribes and native culture in Alaska. Mm-hmm. That's so interesting. Well, the research that I looked at.
This is where you're going to trip out. I've had things sent from me from Alaska from tribes.
That's awesome. Wait. Without you asking? That's some wow. Oh my God. How? Wait, how? How? Oh my God.
Bro, I don't do nothing. You should know this by now.
That.
Oh, the person that sent me all this stuff no longer exists. I can't find him on Facebook.
Of course. It'd be like if I called USPS back and Senor Wolf never worked there or didn't work there with his little 444 neck tattoo. It was pretty big. Like it was
What
3.
does the 444 symbolize?
Let me look it up on the computer so I can see what the general consensus is nowadays. I feel like there's so much muddled and mixed information out there when it comes to, let's say, angel numbers or any kind of synchronicity in the regard. But let's see what comes up. What we got. Okay. And usually I don't see too many people with red ink tattoos. So I was like, oh, it's red.
I don't get it. So
Okay, so you're not gonna like this part. It's just gonna be funny. It's not that you won't like it. The angel number 444 is a sequence of repeating numbers that is said to convey a message of love, support, and guidance from the angels. That's what I was like. Oh. And so let's see. What is 444 a warning of? You know how people give like those like mixed questions with the same like subject content. Okay, in numerology, 444 is a sign that what you've been preparing is going to happen imminently, as long as you've been working towards a strong foundation, of course. The number is thought to be a message, a message from your angels that everything you've been building toward is on the horizon and your determination will be rewarded. Again, this has no foundation to any kind of credible source. This is surfing the interwebs and looking at what comes up, not only from AI response, but from a general consensus off, it looks like glamour.com. There's some stuff. I need help interpreting why I see the number 4 on Reddit, which tends to be a bigger platform for discussing things. Quora is another one. Dictionary.com pop culture, an angel number representing clarity, evolution, decisiveness, and stability.
okay.
Is it it can show up. So somebody asked if it's like, let's say, we asked about the owl. We want to know if it's a bad omen or a good omen, and where is that coming from, what the foundational standards of that belief is, right? We talked about that. Somebody asked, is the number 444 a bad omen? I think it was cleared up by generally saying that while it can show up in difficult times of hardship, some people might think it's bad luck, but it actually is when a change is afoot. So that makes sense with things changing imminently. And as long as you've been building a foundation for a different outcome, then that would bring good luck.
Yeah.
Amazing. We like that.
You have to work for it.
Absolutely. And was I not working that package? Was I not working for it every day? Getting to know the path that it was on. The path that it was on, all them things. I was surprised with myself when I was like, don't worry, I'll handle it. I was like, oh shit, I actually have to handle it. USPS is never going to do it.
I don't know how you got that damn package. That's all I got to say.
I'm just glad I got it.
I was expecting it, I don't know how many times at the house, and I didn't get it before I left. Because it was almost here. It went to San Bernardino.
It went to the state over like 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw it got to your state.
I think it did. I think it got to San Bernardino.
You said you got it. Yeah, you said you got it close to there. And then it was like, boop, bounced back. But the candle is still burning, by the way.
I'm like, hey, it's in Texas. Remember I called you? I'm like, it's in Texas.
I was like, she's merely joking. And then I looked and I was like, oh my God, it's what? And it stayed there and then it disappeared. And then it ended up in all these different small cities. It was like traveling up through Dallas. It did go to New Mexico, went to Arizona, a couple of different places in Arizona.
I think the last time I saw it was in Phoenix.
whatever state has this city, Avondale, it went there. Went to Dallas, Coppell, Texas. I don't even know what that was. Coppell, Texas. And before I could even get to know those people there, it was like, and it's gone. So all these different cities, I think like Sage said, like they needed it. They needed whatever juju you packed up in there. And I was like, oh, you're going bonkers. And it wasn't until I was like, you know what? This isn't bad luck. This is on time. This is what's supposed to happen.
Oh, you did everything on a Tuesday too. That's the funny part.
Let me look back. I think the initial mailing date was on the 21st of October. Let's see. October 21. October 21 was a Monday. And so you probably packed it up on Sunday, the 20th, sent it out on the 21st. And for me to get it, I got it on a Saturn day. I got it on I got it on November 9th. Jeez Louise.
How many weeks? 3?
I like a million in my mind, I swear. Okay, so looking at it, the 21 through the 28 is 1 week. The 28 to November 4th is 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks and 5 days. So 19 days in the mail. That's wild to think about. That was the wildest 19 days
in your area that Thursday. I shipped it on Monday. It was in your area on Thursday, and they shipped it back on Friday.
Yeah, because it was supposed to wait. You shipped it on like Monday. It got to my my PO box on the 30th, to where I was like, okay, I should be able to get it by Halloween. Like, remember we had messaged each other like it was almost like midnight. You were like, yo, it's on its way back to me. Like, it happened pretty quick that first week or two, those first 2 weeks. But after Halloween, like, forget it. I was like, oh my God, somebody's just gonna like pick up this package or something. So I put a tag on it. Like, I don't know what in my mind, I was like, no, I'm gonna put as many reports as humanly possible on this thing so that nobody can be like, oops, it's missing. Oops, it's mine now. I was like, no, it's mine. It's my package. It's for me. I'm looking for it. That is the story.
They even told me, they're like, oh, you're going to get it back, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, it seems like it's lost. Oh, no, it's coming back to you. And then I go, no, it's gone. It went to you like 3-4 times. It just didn't get to the P.O. box.
I thought that was
very compelling.
Yeah, very compelling. You weren't home. And it's like your energies were like, no, hold off until I'm home. No, hold off until I'm home. And you went home a few times and it still didn't go back over there. But then it would come into my state where I was like, come on. And then it would go back like halfway. And that's about when I was like, okay, this is enough. To get the visual on it and to know that they truly weren't messing with us. Like, they weren't just like throwing us in a loop. Like, yeah, it's not lost. Look, see, it's all the way here. I was like, oh, what? It's real still?
Your fucking package, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's one I won't soon forget. But another thing that I ordered from you that I think is another great product, I have tried your road opener. Your road opener is wonderful. I feel like it opened up my third eye a lot. But also, the other oil that I recently got to experience is your Jezebel oil. Do you have any suggestions for people that are interested in Jezebel oil and what it would do?
So Jezebel oil can work differently depending on what's needed. So Jezebel oil, one of the things that it does is if you have people that are jealous or this or that or have those type of issues, it helps people be nicer to you.
Okay, that was immediate for me. Wow.
Number 2, It makes it easier for you to get your cha-ching. When I say that, it's not what you worked for, it's being gifted. Being gifted things. Whether it's cha-ching or not, but it helps in that department.
I can truly tell you both of those things check the box right away.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the phone with you when I first experienced it. And from that moment, the two things you've said started happening. I was wondering about that, and you have just clarified that. I can definitely tell you that is 1,000% true of this oil immediately. Oh, the Jolie.
You'll notice that you're going to get higher tips or better tips.
Ooh.
That might be a little bit more slow in motion, but you're going to have to put it on. So when I'll put it a drop. Put some on the top of your feet and your bottom of your feet, because that's how you move, right? And you want Jezebel to move with you.
Right.
And that'll also help. So wherever you go, you're always finding things or people gifting, or hey, you know what, we paid for this extra coffee here, have some extra coffee, or hey, you know what, somebody paid for this but they didn't pick it up, or you know that we've been waiting, you know, it's been waiting, you know, it's nothing's wrong with it, but would you want this piece of cheesecake, or do you want this, or do you want that?
I love cheesecake.
You get gifted. You'll be getting gifted things. Not all of it's within. There's no malicious intent, or like, hey, they want something from you.
Right. I feel like the name can be very misleading for people. That's why I was like, no, like expand on it. Yeah, like, oh, you Jezebel. Oh, it's like, girl, like,
okay.
no.
So I'm gonna try to get you to understand why it's called Jezebel.
Please do it.
People that were ex-workers used it.
Love it. That's what I'm saying. People have that connotation of,
it's not for that. It's for anything that has to do with work that you get money for. So getting better gratuity for what you do.
That's awesome.
And people being nicer to you.
I deserve people being nice to me. I love it. I love that I have this oil. I love it so much. And do you feel like with oils, it's not just a cure-all? Again, it takes that foundational work and that intention to kind of match along with it? Or do you feel like your oils
can, but your body's what's going to match up with it. The spirit team that you have is going to match up with it. Your ancestors can match up with it. So if your ancestors recognize it, it's going to be easier for you to utilize.
That's a good one.
That's why I work with my ancestors. That's why I do ancestor work. And that's why I work with my spirit team. And that, you know, all these things that I work with.
Do you have another oil that you recommend for people that are embarking on beginning to work with their ancestors, or more effectively working with the ancestors? Or would this be your
oil for that? There's no oil for that.
Is it an incense? Is it a candle? Is there a multitude of things that
There's a lot of things that I could tell you, but I would have to charge you for that.
Okay. Yes, I understand, ma'am.
So there's things that you can get activated by a candle, you can get activated by an oil, you can get activated by a lot of things. But the thing is, you have to push forth the effort for it to be activated.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's good enough.
One thing. So it could be herbs. It could be herbs and an oil, specifically a base oil. So depending on what you want to do, or if you want to open your spirituality, if you want to open your mediumship, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, that's what's going to work for Elsa might not work for others. Am I making sense now?
Oh, so yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Elsa calls me and she's like, hey, look, bitch, I want to work my fifth eye, you know, the one down there. That's the one I want to open up. That's the one I want to work with. And I'm going to be like, okay, this oil, this oil, this oil, or you're going to have to mix and blend these 2-3 oils. And then you're going to use rosemary, you know, because rosemary can be used for anything.
Right.
and you're going to use it for that fifth eye. That's going to work for you, but it won't work for me.
Oh, okay.
So my thing is, I usually personalize things because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at the details. That's why I don't do group work yet.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and that's why I asked, because a lot of the times I'll be around a lot of different practitioners, but more so often than not, whatever religion they're hailing, there's some sort of witch or some sort of someone that they could say that they're a witch, and they're getting from these olden texts of, if you want to do this, burn this incense. If you'd like to have this outcome, do XYZ. Da, 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 da. And it's more of a blanketed, hey, this has worked for our ancestors who were witches as well, so this will work for you. Da, 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 da. And so that's why I ask, I'm like, with your oils, is it something that transcends an intention because it has your potency and you're reading with it, or is it something, you know, that could be person to person? And I think you answered it very well, and that's why I had the question.
So the oils that I make aren't for person to person. That is pushed through because of my essence and my effort. That's one. And because of the knowledge and everything that I've done the last 32 years in my practice. But if Elsa came to me with something specific in mind and needed something specific, I can make something specific for her that nobody else will, and it won't work for anybody else but you.
See why I was all crazy over my package? You see how somebody who would have intercepted this package would have found it. Oh, look, I have this stuff, but it wouldn't have worked for them. That's awesome. What a safeguard for your packages that gets mailed out. You can tell people, trust me, even if, you know, some USPS person or somebody on the street were to steal your mail, this would be useless to them.
Well, it's not that it would be totally useless. It just wouldn't work the same.
Right.
So how about if they have an allergy to rosemary?
Right.
Or their spirits don't like rosemary. It's not going to work the same. It might actually cause them the opposite. You have to think about it that way.
That's awesome. I mean, not really, but
So
you know.
one of the things that I do is, people will call it a tag lock. I think that's what they call it. So when I do things, there's things that I mark. So let's say I put a symbol. I put the symbol. And let's say the day of tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, you know what? I no longer want what that candle did for me. Right? First of all, I'm going to charge you 3 times the amount. Because I have to break my spell, my own working. I don't like breaking my workings. They're no fun.
Right.
I have to use the symbol that I utilized making your thing to break it. And there's nothing left of it. So do you know how hard that is to go into the ether and break something like that?
I can't imagine. No, this is like awesome information.
So yeah, I mark things a certain way that people don't know me well enough. But even with my spiritual baths, if let's say I'm sending you a spiritual bath, but you decide to give it to somebody that's a friend of yours but not a friend of mine, the spiritual bath will not work for them.
Yeah, because that means they like be using your energy without your consent. Like, no,
it's not that. It won't work for somebody that's wishing me harm. Does that make sense now?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And let's say it's a friend of yours, but you don't know that they have beef with me. Because, well, you've never, I don't talk about it with you. It's none of your business. Don't concern you, right? But let's say one of your besties, they have a beef with me. I don't necessarily have a beef with them, but they have a beef with me. You decide to give them the spiritual bath. Spiritual bath ain't going to work for them. Now, does that mean that I tag logged it to Elsa? No. One of the things that I did with my spiritual baths, because people have gotten them that shouldn't have gotten them. they try to clean themselves off with my energy. If you don't like me, you can't clean yourself off with my stuff.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for you. I mean, but then again, that's just my opinion. So these are the kind of things that I've already dealt with.
Jeez.
You know what it's like having somebody, you getting a hold of whoever so they can buy a spiritual bath for me because you threw at me and things aren't going very well for you, but you decided to be my enemy and now you can't take that thing off. Now you get me?
I get you.
Mm-hmm. And this is not me being evil. Let me make it make sense. This is me protecting myself.
Right. And it's very necessary. It's consequential. Action, reaction, action, consequence, universal consequence.
Well, you don't like me, then you can't use anything that has to do with my energy to clean me off of you or, clean whatever stupidity you caused onto yourself because you decided to be a toad. These are the consequences of your actions, not mine, and my energy isn't going to clean you from your BS.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've done. That doesn't necessarily, I don't call it a tag lock, but it's something similar to that. So there's things that I've put on. Remember, my spiritual baths take days to make. So, I try to split it several hours of, 2-3 days. So it takes a total of 18 hours to make one of my spiritual baths, one of them. The one that's the most complicated. And in that one, I put a lot of symbolisms in it. So in case if an enemy of mine or somebody that's wants to do harm gets my spiritual baths, it will not work the same. I've had to. Because I had a feeling it was going to happen. And it did.
That's so intense.
And I am not vengeful.
But that's where your practices would come in to tell you, hey, if someone has wronged you, you can do XYZ as a consequential, or what would that be?
I'm not throwing. See, this is the thing. I'm not throwing. Imagine you having to sit with the consequences of your actions because you threw left at somebody that didn't deserve it. So technically, I didn't get the hit. It swung back at you. It did a boomerang. It swung back at you and hit you.
Interesting.
Sometimes when you protect yourself and you protect yourself well, you don't even get the hit. Or you feel the smack, but they're getting hit 10 times as hard.
That's so good.
Now the energy is coming back. Maybe not quicker, but in a way to devastate you differently.
Wow.
Originally on here, I was very known for my spiritual baths. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not. I still am. But, now I'm known for candles. Now I'm known for oils. Now I'm known for this. I'm known for that. I mean, you got your cards. You can tell me what am I known for.
Yeah, to a certain extent. To a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. And then I think now I'm at 2,060 followers or 7,260 followers.
Jeez.
I'll tell you right now where I'm at. Oh, excuse me. 7,319 followers.
Wow. That's really good. And they're mostly organic, right? I mean, just out of nowhere, they just come to you for the spiritual information, the videos, the energy you bring to your account.
Well, I'm hoping that I can bring people over to Discord. So go into my link tree, go look at my Discord, go in there, and just chit chat with all of us on Discord. I do have a YouTube. Go ahead on my YouTube. I need subscribers. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I need subscribers on there. I need like 40 more so I can go live. I need to go live. I want to go live. Be nice to go live on YouTube.
I know, it seems like that's significantly a lot less than what you would need on TikTok. Like, I always understood you need like 1,000 followers to go live on TikTok, and I never looked into the number of followers you need on YouTube to go live. I never even thought about going live on YouTube. Like, I was like, what?
Well, no, I've had my YouTube for 11 years.
Wow. Huh. I feel like it's gone through a lot of changes. I know it's had like YouTube Music and then YouTube Shorts.
And Reels.
Right. Like, to where I'm like, I don't even know what the heck's going on half the time when it comes to that utility, but I think in my channel, like, I don't put too much.
I'm going to end up downloading this live and I'm going to put it on there.
Oh, neat.
So neat on that. And I have to make a decision. Am I dyeing this?
What's your favorite color?
Black. Well, I want to go blonde again, but the boyfriend doesn't want me to go blonde. But I want to get rid of... Technically, I don't want to get rid of the grays. I want to go blonde so they... I don't know. They don't show as much.
You could get like frontal highlights that basically like highlight that area only on top to where your natural color is most prevalent.
Well, that means I gotta pay for it. I don't want to do that.
A little bit, or you could just brave it out. I could send you some of the stuff, the salon quality stuff, and you just follow the directions, which you're very good at doing, and then you could just just DIY it a little bit. It'll be okay. Like, it'll be fine. Or I could just take it with me. I'll take a plane ride over there. I'll be like, okay, we're gonna bleach your hair right quick. We're gonna give you a little front highlights. We're just gonna... Other than that, I did hear, which I'm not sure of the validity, but I did hear they have blonde at-home color boxes now. And they're real, like, you have dark hair, you want to go blonde? Just buy this box dye. And I'm like, what? I know. I was like, how is that possible? But it caught my attention, especially because I do not like the price tag that comes along with professional hair. But at the same time, it does look good if you go to the right person. I would say, like, since it's so concentrated to the front, either do that or like pick a light brown and dye your whole hair with it to where the light brown picks up that color that's most light and will fade away into the darker color. It's not going to do it into the darker color.
Well, see, all around here, I used to bleach it, and then I would put red or blue or purple, and then the rest would be black.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, whatever your favorite color is.
Almost. You
would be able to just like put that in your hair, and your hair, like the darker parts of your hair would have the tinge and the tint of the color, but that gray would just like blam. Like,
girl, it is not gray. It is white.
It would just like take that color so well, whatever color you wanted. It would look so cool. Like, most people have to pay to get white platinum like that. I would, oh my God, to have my hair like platinum like that.
I've had platinum white hair. I've had it. I've had it before it was a thing. I've really done it a lot. That's one of the things that and I think I went blonde. I think I had the appointment for like 3 or 4 months before I was able to go platinum right after my husband passed. I went platinum blonde.
Did you keep your hair real soft or did it get crunchy?
No, my hair stayed soft.
That's good. The horror stories are always like, your hair is going to get so fried and crunchy and short. And it's like, okay, well, then I want the platinum.
I had my hair to my butt crack.
Holy moly. Well, I want to know what conditioner you were using, because That sounds wonderful.
Well, I mean, I didn't have my hair black. So don't think I had my hair black. I had my hair my natural color. It's like an auburn brown or something like that. It's like a reddish brown, my natural hair color. Or chestnut. I went and I got it, changed it from my natural color to the blonde. But I had like brown and blonde. It did and I forgot what it's called. A little bit darker to the really light to the white blonde.
The ombre, like an ombre or balayage.
Ombre.
One of them afterwards.
The guy that did my hair, he's like, "Oh, your hair takes the blonde like nothing."
You're so lucky for that. Oh, what a dream.
And not over process it. My hair was like perfect. But we did do a conditioning though. So,
yeah, it's a lot of conditioning, keeping the hair very healthy.
Plus, I don't wash my hair often. I probably wash my hair like once a week.
I hear that's kind of a thing for some people, but I think it depends like on how oily or how your hair type is, because some people, like, I don't know, they swear by different means.
Well, when I was younger, I used to wash my hair once, sometimes twice a day, just 'cause. But the older that I got and the sinus issues that I have, I can't wash my hair every day. If not, I get sick. I feel sick. So that's one of the bad issues with being older, having allergies and all the other things. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, I ended up changing the routine of washing my hair every single time. Like I said, sometimes I would take 4, 5, 6 baths a day, showers a day, because I'm not weird about it. Yeah, like when I don't feel good, I take a lot of showers a day. I can't.
Yeah, there was some point in my life where I kind of like would even just rinse off excessively until I felt spiritually correct, or where I felt more clean. And it's like, I'm not clean. It was interesting. It was an interesting time.
And I've become the way that I am now of not washing my hair every single time. Like my hair does get rinsed to some extent, but I'm not washing it. I'll put some conditioner on my ends and stuff like that, but I don't wash my hair every single time. Like I keep my hair up for the most part.
Did you hear the rumor, which again, no validity, no proof, just for the sake of conversation, the rumor that shampoo isn't for the hair, it's for the scalp?
I could believe that. That's why
I was like, that sounds, doesn't sound correct or incorrect, but what a concept to think that, oh, you gotta go shampoo your hair. It's like, well, that's probably why you shouldn't shampoo as much, because your scalp is like your skin. If y'all like dry and flaky around, unless you're putting like oils and stuff in it, in which you get too oily, you want to wash it out, and it's like this whole cycle. But interesting.
That or washing your hair with cold water instead of hot.
That one, yeah. Well, because if you think about what the hair is, like keratin, opening and closing, the hot and cold, yeah. I could think of that, but like any further than that, I'm like, huh? What? Wait. Hot water, you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to do hot water.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to do warm, like a lukewarm to cold. And especially when you're dyeing your hair and you're adding a multitude of colors, you're supposed to do cold.
Yeah, so it doesn't open the hair root, so it lets out the color. See, I get it.
When you put warm to hot, you're going to release color.
Yeah.
Especially the dark color. And then you're going to see the fade. You're going to see the color fade. Like you'll see red highlights in my hair, a lot of red highlights. Because at the beginning of the year, my bangs and everything here, my money piece was red.
I thought I saw that on the page.
This kind of red.
I used to put little highlights in my hair and go to Hot Topic and get the
I used to do
Manic or
purple. I used
whatever
to do
with the
blue.
red.
I used to do red. I used to do blue, and I used to do purple.
Those are all
I
the
still
best.
have it.
Pink looks okay too, but the red is something completely different than the pink.
Red turns into pink to an orange.
Yeah, this magenta color I tried was like Chi. I think the brand was Chi. You know, like the straightener, they made it like demi-permanent color at one time, and the magenta they had was so pretty. Like it was a true pink. It was really pretty. I had the chance to try it. I had done some magenta with like a deep purple and like a very deep blue, and I was like, oh, I like it.
I've done strawberry. I've done blue and purple. Blue fades into a green, a weird green.
Seafoam kind of, yeah, you could like, some people actually go for that color. Like they'll dye their hair that platinum and then they'll go for that like seafoam kind of green color.
Mm-hmm. Girl, I've done it all. I had unicorn hair. I've had unicorn, straight white blonde, and then my ends were a bunch of different colors.
Do you think your ability to have this hair magic came from your discipline in not doing anything to your hair for so long? Because that sounds like your hair has been able to do whatever it needs to without like cracking and frying or having like weird color
It's
variations.
gotten fried. Don't get me wrong; it has gotten fried, but yeah, no, I have a thing about my hair. I don't know if I want to call it a vanity, but you know, I like having my hair. But I've had it short. I've had it boy short. I used to shave the back. I used to shave the sides and only kept the top long, and then would let it go down. My hair, I've had it beyond my butt, but it just becomes too much of a hassle to deal with.
Yeah.
That's why I cut it. That, and you release a lot of so to me, cutting the hair has to do with starting anew and releasing.
I was just going to ask you what your thoughts were on hair and cutting it or not cutting it.
There's things that you could do depending on your culture, depending on other things. You could do a lot with your hair to do releasing. You could also do magic. You could do tag locks. You could do so when instead of you being hit, something else can get hit instead.
Interesting. I always feel very called to have my hair in box braids. I always feel extremely called to have my hair sectioned out in little squares and adding the fake hair all the way like kind of like a protective hairstyle. But in Native American cultures, it's always like braids can be like protection. Like I'm very intentional. Like I kind of like zone out when I do my hair into these box braids, and I'm always called to have them. And it's just one of those things where it's like, that's very interesting because there's a lot of things that you can do as far as having your hair be, like perceiving things and recepting things. Like you said, like cutting off the dead parts or, having your hair kind of healthy is something that can kind of have that spiritual tinge to it too. So I find that so interesting.
Your hair carries DNA.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Your hair carries memories. That's why it gets so heavy, depending on your thickness too. So it just depends on if you're willing to release certain traumas, certain phobias, certain this, certain that. It can help you with that. But some women, they're vain, and it's very hard for them to, cut their hair. I mean, I went all the way to being bald. So.
What?
Yeah, that's what you do in Lucumi.
That's what I was like, that had to have been, wow. Whoa.
Imagine having your hair all the way from your butt and then having nothing.
I was just thinking about that right now. It's like, yo, if somebody was like, well, we're going to shave you down today, I'd be like, are you, what? Can I wear a wig?
I knew that was going to be something that happens. So because of that, I mean, it didn't bother me because I knew.
It was for something.
Yeah, it was for my own health. So I'm in these practices for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
it's given me a better idea how to work in groups. I don't like working in groups. That's what I've noticed. I'm not good with that. I like being by myself. Like, I don't mind, okay, we're going to do a group of working, we're all together, and then I bounce. I don't mind doing something like that if I need to, but the reality is I don't like doing group workings. That's not my thing. But that's something that the practice does. So group working is you're getting initiated and you have 30 people in your initiation. You're going to get the energy of 30 different people because of your initiation.
Yeah, see, that makes sense, where you're like, no more of that. No, thank you.
And I'm like, I've done that quite too many times. I don't mind it, but I'm okay being all my little lonesome over here under my little warm, cozy little blanket.
Right.
It's very beautiful seeing somebody get initiated, all these great things, great, wish them well. I don't want to be in the initiation. I'm good. It's a lot of hard work. And I could say for the most part, you're not really appreciated.
Have you seen anybody like fail initiations or get turned away from being initiated?
I've turned people away. But I didn't initiate them. But they've gone to other people. One, I don't feel ready. Number two, I guide people as is. I don't have to do it in my practice. I want to say that being a godparent is a heavy burden. And, I already have children. So it puts just a bigger burden. And then I have to drop what I'm doing to help them type of thing. I feel like it's a lot. It's a big, huge responsibility, and I'm not saying it as a negative, but now that I'm older, I do want to enjoy. So being a godparent, which I am in a different practice, and Palomaybe, I think I have a dozen or a little bit over a dozen godchildren. And in Santeria, it's more like, I feel there's more of a closeness, and I haven't gotten that with a lot of people that I would be like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to initiate you. I've had people come to me because they want me to initiate them because of my character or who I am or what I stand for, which I'm okay with. But it is a big step to do all that. And then on top of that, I can't cut corners. So that's my big problem. And then, all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're going to initiate, they want me to initiate them. And then a month down the line, they're like, hey, we need you to cut a corner. I can't do that. Am I making sense?
Are there people that actually do that cut corners?
They will.
Doesn't seem conducive to something anybody should want to do from what I can gather, what you shared.
Well, the problem is this is a very expensive religion.
Right. Oh, okay. The motive. Okay.
So that's the main thing, the expense. Right. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Or worse, let's say you came to me because you wanted to get initiated, but then at the end of the day, you're like, no. And I'm like, okay, we're not mad at each other. There's no disrespect. Totally get it. You don't have the cash. You don't have the this. You don't have that. Okay, great. But then you come down the line 2 or 3 months later. Hey, there's an emergency. A friend of mine needs to be initiated. I'm like, okay, that's great. Why are you coming to me for that?
Right.
Like, what's your question? Why are you telling me about it? Oh, well, I want you to initiate them. Mind you, these people are very sick, close to yeet. I'm sorry, but if the person's very sick in that aspect, due to what I have written in my books, if you're close to that, I can't, there's things that I can't do. And it could be that I just got a reading and it said, hey, somebody could be knocking on your door. They're very sick and they might pass away in your home. You heard that part, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, but you have to find somebody else that's better qualified to do that, to help you. Is that me turning them away? Yes, that's turning somebody away. I'm willing not to get that coin. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm willing not to get that coin, knowing that something cannot turn out 100% correct, because there might be things that have to be done and there's no coin for it. So imagine your initiation costing $10,000.
Holy Miss Molly. Okay.
That's the prices are more.
I figure.
Hold on. And then you're in the process of the initiation, but now certain things are coming up that makes that $10,000 initiation a $15,000 initiation.
Oh.
Mind you, you're already in process.
Holy.
I need you to understand. Who's gonna come up with that other 5? You know why that would end up happening is because I have respect for what I have, so I would do what needs to be done. Someone else won't.
Yeah.
I don't have that, so I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And it's not because it's like a little bit glorified having godchildren. I get it, but I don't need that glory.
It's a lot of responsibility in any aspect of what a God.
Imagine I'm dealing with somebody's health and I have to figure things out. And then how about if in 2 o'clock in the morning they're in the hospital and I need to go run to the hospital, but they're in another state?
Yikes.
Who's going to do it? Oh, mind you, now they're my godchild. There's a certain thing that needs to be done before they go. And they cross over. You know whose job it is to go run? I'm okay. Again, it has nothing to do with me not wanting to do it. I understand the responsibilities. But because I understand the responsibilities, I'm not going to. It's a lot of responsibility having godchildren. And most people might not take it to that extent. Now, I was told I was going to have a lot of godchildren. I don't know.
I feel like 12's a lot. A dozen for eggs, but a dozen for people.
No, but it isn't in the same practice.
Yeah.
It's a different practice.
Holy Miss
In my own way, I have a dozen or over a dozen godchildren.
What? Oh.
And I'm talking, I think like 8 in one day.
That's a giant responsibility.
And I'm okay. I am okay. But what I want to do is different. I want to build a community. So if I can build a community, I'll be fine. If I can get the people that want the candles, they want the oils, they want the readings, and I get it. Now, you're not going to have a reading every week, but if you have a reading once every 2 months or once a month or once every so often, and I'm the one that you come to, awesome. I'm the one that you come to when you want spiritual baths. I'm the one that you come to when you want some kind of tea. When you want the magic to happen, I make it happen for you. And you come to me for that? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in some sense, the community that I'm building, the people that are coming to me are kind of like godchildren, but I'm just not initiating them. I don't feel that you guys need to come to me because you want an initiation. What you guys are coming to me is to either get knowledge, to get understanding, to help yourself, and to build yourself and be a better person. That's it. That has nothing to do with me wanting for you to initiate. When have I, since I've met you, said that you've had to do anything with initiations?
Oh, never. No, I would assume not ever. Especially because a lot of your ATRs are closed, aren't they?
Honey, you do know that you get initiated. That's not closed.
Okay, well, I
Closed as
figure,
in you can't do anything until you're initiated.
yeah. I don't know. I just like, I
but
kind of, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I'd be like, okay, just do it. Okay, just do whatever you need to do. I've been fortunate enough not to have dire circumstance to be put in that position, but I would definitely trust you if anything came up like that. But no, you have never been like, well, first things first. Never.
No. So here, and there's the thing. You have to get these initiations done first before you start practicing these religions. So with that being said and done, and I mean, I'm not saying that you can't be taught something, but we're not. I know that how my practice is, I was never taught anything. Like I couldn't do anything before I was initiated. So I would probably keep the same steps. I don't think I would change anything. Does that make sense? Because that's how the practice is. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I've been offered to initiate people and I haven't wanted to. At least not in Lucumi. In Palomaybe, yes, I have. That's why I have 12 godchildren. Probably had like 14, who knows? I don't know, I stopped counting a while back. But yeah, I got godchildren. I just, in Lucumi, I didn't want to fuck with it. I think it's just too much of a headache. I can barely deal with shit. Imagine having to deal with.
Like, yeah, no.
I already have my kids' stuff that I have to deal with too. Can you imagine that?
No, I don't have insurance. No. And every day I'm like, this is good. I can barely handle my own shit. This is fine because can't imagine how these people do it. They have children of their own and they're acting cooler than a cucumber than me right now. Oh no. Oh no. Something is definitely afoot here.
Girl.
Oh no.
Can you imagine?
No. The only way I could imagine is maybe that I'd be averaging 4 hours of sleep on a good night, pulled so thin between so many things that I'd like forget what I look like and like have very poor outward appearance because I'd be like, let me do this for you and I gotta make sure blah, 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 like a dozen times. No way. Oh no.
Oh, and in Santeria or Lucumi, it's not the same as tarot. The readings aren't the same. These are hours worth and just.
And so that's a big differentiating thing for what you offer is that the types of readings like we talked about previous in the live are definitely oriented to something that you can do that sets you apart from other readers, like by design. Like, yes, you are gifted in tarot, but the way that you read comes from a completely different place and comes
It has nothing to do with my initiations, to be honest.
Wow.
Now, there's readings in my initiations, specific ones. Like in Palo, there's a Chamalongo reading. And then in Lucumi, it's a Kori shell reading.
Oh, yeah.
I don't do those. I don't offer those. I can, but
I've heard of them.
and I was studying to throw caracol, and I stopped after my godfather died because I got busy, I got work, I had this, I had that, like, shit, life happened.
Right.
Do I have regrets? I kind of, when it comes to caracol, but if in eventuality I don't do the readings that way, then I don't. I mean, life has given me a lot of curveballs, and it could be that that's something that I could master without thinking that. And it could be true, I could master it, but do I want to? Here's the thing, what do I want to do? Do I want to take those steps in the religion, which if I mastered doing the caracol, it would be very difficult on my body. So you can do it while you're on a table, but the person has to be in front of you. I wouldn't be able to do it online,
Interesting.
even though I've seen it. We ain't discussing that. The chamalongo reading, you could do it with the person there. You could do it over the phone as well. There's like there's a way of going about it. I have my way. It might not be everybody else's way, and that's fine. But I do it that I have my own prenda, so I do my things my way. The tarot and everything else, that could be done a different way. I mean, you've already seen the way that I read. I mean, I could do readings with a couple of quarters in my hands and some change, some spare change. I could do some reading. I don't need a book. I don't need the tarot. Give me a glass of water. Give me a candle. I'll fuck up your life right then and there. Or I'll make it better. One or the other. Don't play.
I believe that.
Like, we ain't gonna be playing. But yeah, everybody's different. Everybody has different abilities. I haven't figured out what all my abilities are, but I got something.
Not the nails. Yeah.
Now, do these differences benefit me? Quite possibly, because I can connect with spirit like that. There's no, oh, okay, well, I'm waiting. It's not like that. Everybody's different. I could hear them, I could see them, I could smell them. Sometimes I could see as if I were them. So it just depends. Like I said, I can pick up on fragments. And that's the way that I put it. That might not be it, but we'll leave it as that. Everybody has their abilities and their capabilities. Some people can bring their mediumship to a level that's incomprehensible. And then there's some people that just can't. So, like, I had somebody come in here about a week ago telling me, hey, how can I become, like, get my dreams and, like, be in sync with my dreams? And I go, well, what do you mean? And, they're like, like dreams that come true. And I'm like, oh, well, like, have you had that happen? And, like, how often have you had that type of thing happen? And they're like, oh, well, not really. My family members had it. Like, let's say their father. And I'm like, okay, that's nice, but that's their ability. That's not necessarily yours. Now you can try. There's certain things that you can try and strive at to be able to bring that available, like that mediumship ability to come through. I think it has a certain name, like deja vu. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that that's something that you can develop.
Prophetic dreaming is definitely like a mix of premonition and like, yeah, like third eye, some mediumship, like what you said. I would say it's one of those that kind of, yeah, it's like
You'd have to
teeter
grow
totter.
your third eye, you'd have to expand it and shrink it and, do the back and forth. You would,
You also got to travel, but you also have to commit to remember, and you have to have a lot of discipline to be able to do it. They're just now proving that you can go into dreams and have set the intention, meet with other people, and then come back, and both or many parties can remember it, or you can remember it, and then of course inevitably the things that you've seen or discussed come true. They are just getting to that as far as provable science, but in that regard, that would mean that you have to really work at it. And like you said, like it's going to take that open, close, and the intention.
now let's discuss that. I have had people that have had me in their dreams, and I remember being in their dreams, and I was not trying to remember anything.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I've had dreams like that with more than one person. I would say like maybe 5 or 6 people.
Did I tell you about the person that recently, I think I told you I had some weird dreams, and there was somebody in Canada that I had just met, and they messaged me. They're like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know, we don't know each other that well, but I saw you walking around in a dream. Was your dream like this?" And I was like, "Ew, yes, it was." And I don't know this person. Like, I would have never been like, "Hey, let's link up in a dream." Like, never. I had just met them. And for them to ask the specific detail that I had dreamt, it was a little freaky. I've had a couple of people like that I surround myself that are practitioners. They've come to my office and been like, "What's the deal? Why were you acting like that in that dream?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was, what? They were telling me I was doing XYZ. So there is definitely something about, I don't know, I guess your presence in astral, in which maybe your subconscious is trying to connect in a to somebody else's consciousness to like link up and show them something, in which intention wasn't necessarily consciously there, right? It just kind of happened. I don't know what the link would be besides that your souls are in resonance to do something within this lifetime that you are not consciously aware of, but that can happen in the subconscious or even in the astral realms.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I would dissect it, or that I would know how to even try to describe that. Because why is somebody coming out of nowhere being like, "Mercedes, like, I saw you," or like, "Oh, we had a dream together,"
Okay, so imagine your 5-year-old nephew having their mom call you. And mind you, the kid is freaked out. Calls me, his mom calls me first, and he's like, "Hey, I'm letting you know, my son's going to talk to you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Put the baby on. He's like 6 years old at the time. And he's like, "Oh, you passed away in my dream." Tells me I passed away in the dream. But he's like, "Oh, you didn't really pass away, but you passed away in the dream. Like somebody came to yeet you, but you passed away in the dream, but you were faking it. Then it came after me and it got me. And I haven't been able to sleep well since."
Wow.
Okay, he's like 6 at the time. He's like 9 now. And I'm like, okay, I tell my sister what to do, da-da-da-da. Couldn't sleep. And I'm like, oh, this is like on a Monday or Tuesday. And I go, okay, I'm going to go over, I'll go over to your house on Saturday. I help him ground. I help him this. I help him that. Imagine a 6-year-old meditating. I want you to think about this. Mind you, he is a clean freak and he doesn't like necessarily being dirty. And I told him he had to take off his shoes and get on the grass. And he's like, "I don't like how it feels." I go, "I don't care if you don't like how it feels. You need to do this. Are you going to listen to me? Yes or no?" He's like, "I'm going to listen to you. You know what to do." Do you know before we left that park, he was falling asleep on us, that by the time he got home, he was already asleep and he was knocked out on the couch for like 5 hours?
His poor little child energy was drained from all the adult work he had to do.
And then he told me he had, because he couldn't dream after that for whatever reason. Like after that nightmare, he couldn't dream. He's like, "My dream stopped. I can't dream anymore. I'm not sleeping much. I started dreaming and having happy dreams.
Oh, that's such a good ending. So that was like, oh God. Wow, that's good.
So, you know,
Kids are so perceptive, and some of them just straight up will pop out and be like, I'm meditating. Most adults can't do that. Kids are very, very powerful.
he meditated, and I'm like, oh, you're barely going to be able to get to the car, and you're a big boy. I can't carry you. You need to get into the car. And he was like half groggy, half awake, like when he came inside the house. But when he landed on that couch, he knocked out for like 5 or 6 hours. I was like, Jesus. So, you know, these are the kind of things that I do. Try to get a child to meditate, to ground, does it, and he's fine.
Wow.
He tells me, that was like on a Saturday, like a week later, I guess he kind of had the dream again, but this time like nothing bad happened. I guess he said that I came back and I yeeted what was bothering him. What came after me, I acted like I went yeet, you know.
You collapsed the old timeline and you made a new one. That's
I don't know what the hell I did.
Translate as.
And the funniest thing is, I'm like this looking at everything. And I'm walking away like mad, like this didn't need to happen.
Yeah, the disorder in here.
That's me.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of different geopathically, inclined people, or they're very in tune with the earth and the ley lines and all that. They go about different places within the United States or the world, and they go and they see all this stuff, kind of like yourself. They're looking around, they're like, what in the dickens is going on here? I don't like it. And they'll be able to travel in a sense, or connect with those consciousness that are incorrect, and collapse what they know is that timeline to create a new one so that things are set back in order. And I find that to be just so interesting.
Better. We want better, not in order.
Absolutely. Some of us are placed here to see the ugly, like yourself, see everything wrong and to fix it. And for you, effortlessly. For others, not possible. And they need your help, which makes a lot of sense, where you're like, I'm here to help, like here to create a community of people for the better, higher good.
I don't know about that higher good stuff, but I'm here to make a community to help people so they can eventually help themselves, and we could help each other, because there might be something that I don't know that you do, and you might think that it's very insignificant, but it could save my world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And when I also talk about community, it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to practice what I practice. Now, there's a few techniques that are in my practice that I can show, and especially in Espiritismo, that can help you, because it's just spiritualism. It's just the Caribbean form, the Cuban way of doing the spiritualism, that can help you get to where you need to be. And that's all I care about. And, if this helps me pay my bills too at the same time, because I have the experience, yay, sign me up.
Right.
I mean, well, let's get off of this live so I can shut this down. See if I can download it, because I've talked so much crap on here. People are going to be like, oh my God, she doesn't want to initiate people. And again,
no way. I think
me
you explained it. You did not come across like, no, I don't want to. Like, not at all. You're fine.
No, it's just like people are going to be like,
no. But yes, it was so wonderful being on live with you this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to give reviews on your products, but also be present with you in this energy and on your live.
All right. Love you all. Everybody have a good night. Me and you can chat a little bit longer on text if you want.
Yep.
All right. Love you.
I'll be here. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.